Sparkling under the late summer sun, there lies an island inhabited with exciting cultural charm. A place where history meets the future over cappuccinos, jazz, and art. But today's exhibition is all about speed. One weekend a season, NASCAR packs up and crosses north into Canada to beautiful metropolitan Montreal and the cold technical road course, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Welcome to one of the most beautiful and infuriating, majestic and frustrating tracks on the circuit. Montreal's warm hospitality has given way to Mother Nature's ill manners in the form of rain, and more rain. No one has felt the cold shoulder of the Great White North more than Marcus Ambrose.
Ambrose, throws back on him!
I just made one mistake and it cost me the race.
Chalet la Ball. With a field loaded with road course ringers, and Carl Edwards hoping to repeat his success in '09, someone will definitely be begging you to pardon their French.
I'm telling you, boys, you gotta...
The national language may be French, but today, everyone speaks NASCAR. This is Montreal. This is NASCAR. Bonjour, y'all.
It is a wonderful city that has become home to a wonderful event. And today, no matter which language you use to describe it, it's simply a beautiful late summer day in Montreal. Fans by the thousands have been coming across the bridges by foot, by bus, by subway. Their enthusiasm and their energy a big part of what makes this Montreal race such a special happening. Trackside, the drivers are beginning to gather for introduction. Shortly, they'll buckle in and go racing on this demanding 14-turn track. One will have a trophy to take home and will be happy to fill out the appropriate customs forms if needed. ESPN welcomes you to NASCAR Countdown for one of the highlight races of the NASCAR nationwide season, the 200-miler at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve on Ile Notre-Dame in Montreal, Quebec. I'm Alan Bestwick. In a press release before this race, NASCAR said this Montreal event is one of the most anticipated of the season, with a penchant for being one of the most bizarre. I can hardly disagree. In 3 years of competition here, we've seen late race drama, unanticipated twists of plot, and surprise winners. And to sum up all three, all you have to do is look at the Montreal exploits of one driver, the man who drives this car, Marcus Ambrose.
So Marcus Ambrose in search of his first career NASCAR win. Robbie Gordon behind him.
Robbie Gordon to the inside for the lead! Ambrose throws back on him!
Who is leading the race? When did the caution come out?
Get black flag me after the race. I'm staying here.
They are putting the black flag up for Robbie Gordon, and indeed, Gordon will hit Ambrose.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Marcus Ambrose, your leader, having trouble. He goes too fast into pit lane, has to serve a pass-through penalty. Despite all this, Marcus is in third.
You know, we've dominated the race twice here in 2 years and haven't closed the deal.
And look at Ambrose. Is this guy good on a road course? Here he comes. Oh, Marcus! No! Can you believe this? Carl Edwards gets around him. Marcus makes one mistake all day, and it's going to cost him the win.
I just made one mistake and it cost me the race.
Marcus Ambrose has led the most laps in this race the last 3 years and not taken home the trophy. As you saw, in 2007, he and Robbie Gordon tangled late. In 2008, he had a pit road speeding penalty, and last year, the last corner mistake cost him the win. Ambrose starts on the pole today. Mike Massaro, he says, only one result counts.
And that result is, of course, winning, something that has so far eluded you here in Montreal. Considering your history at this racetrack, what's your mindset going into today?
Well, everyone keeps talking about the past, but really I'm not focused on that at all. I'm worried about the future, which is trying to win this race today. So I'm in a good frame of mind. We've got a great car, got the pole position, in pretty good style yesterday. It was a great fight with Jacques, and just ready to go get it. Really pumped up about our chances. We've got a good feeling about it, and we've got our cup crew here. We're just we've put everything into it.
And you mentioned Jacques, a spirited battle yesterday during the qualifying session. What do you expect to happen between you and him on the opening laps here this afternoon?
Well, I'm pretty sure I've made a whole country very annoyed at this little Australian, because I think the whole of Canada was cheering for Jacques to get the pole yesterday, but it wasn't to be. So just a dream for me to start alongside Jacques on the front row, in his hometown. It's going to be pretty cool, but I don't expect too much trouble. I'm going to try to get a really good jump off the start and just try and keep my fenders in front of his getting into turn one. I've chosen the right-hand side, which, may or may not work out for me, but we'll see how it goes.
Should be fun to watch, Alan. This guy, he's got the car he won with in Watkins Glen a few weeks ago, looking for the same result.
Be fun to watch. Ambrose starting on the pole. Now, that last corner mistake for Marcus in last year's race opened the door for Carl Edwards to score the win. Remember the final turns, with Ambrose being pressured, he missed the first curve but clobbered the second one. It forced him outside just enough for Edwards to scoot by for the victory. Edwards says the crowd reaction to his win made it one of the most special victories of his career. Carl will lead the charge for the Nationwide Series regulars today against a field full of road course talent. But Carl has proven he's certainly no slouch when it comes to road racing. He's won 2 of the last 3 road course events in the Nationwide Series, this race a year ago and Road America in June. He starts 4th today. Vince Welch, he says this race is going to look totally different from what we've seen here before, though.
Alan, the biggest difference this weekend is the fact that it's dry. We haven't had the rain that we've had the past couple of years. Carl, how has that changed the preparation that you guys have done from a team perspective this weekend?
It just means you prepare those brakes. You know, you got to make sure that the brakes are going to hold up. We've got great brakes on the car, and it's going to be management of that. You know, and so far we've run in practice with clean air on the nose, and I think once we get in a group, it's going to be even more important to be easy on the brakes. But a really great car. We've got Will Overton, his wife Shirley from Fastenal. They've been great supporters of us. They're here at the race this weekend, so we've got a little pressure there. And we'd love to get you know, back-to-back wins for Fastenal and Copart.
Everybody's talking about the brakes. How do you manage the brakes?
I'm not the best at it, so I don't know. I'll let you know after the race if you see any you know, a flaming blue car and running off the end of the racetrack. You know, I haven't done my job, but I think it's just going to be about picking and choosing where you decide to really attack in the braking zones. It's going to be a very strategic race in that manner.
Carl won it last year. We'll see if he can make it back-to-back. Alan?
All right, Vince, thanks. We gave the pit studio a weekend at home, and overlooking the start-finish line is the broadcast booth, where I'll join Rusty Wallace and Andy Petrie for the call of the race in a little bit. They join us now. Let's start with Marcus Ambrose, gentlemen. Rusty, you've been at a racetrack before where it's frustrated you time and time again, and you put pressure on yourself coming back. How did it affect you?
It really affected me a lot, Alan. It really did. I think about Indianapolis, where I finished 2nd there 3 times. And every time I thought, man, I had the best car that day. I should have won that big race, only to lose it at the very end. Well, that's the same thing that Marcus is going through right now. Man, I've been the best at this racetrack here in Canada. I had this deal sealed, and I screwed up at the very end and lost it. And I want to redeem myself. I want to get back on track. I'm the man. I can win this thing. That's what's going through Marco's mind right now.
Well, he's putting a lot of pressure on himself, but also there's a crew that came up here with him, a volunteer crew from his Cup team. There's a lot of pressure on those guys as well. You know, one mistake kept Marcus Ambrose from winning this race last year, and those guys down on pit road, they don't want that one mistake to come from them, so they come up here with the, you know, the thought of trying to get him what he really wants and deserves, but they don't want to make a mistake and keep him from winning it.
All right, let's use an Olympic term. Part of the facilities for the 76 Montreal Olympics are here on this island as well. Degree of difficulty. Comparing this track to the other road courses on the Nationwide Series, Andy, what's the degree of difficulty like here?
Well, it's very difficult, Alan. This is a very narrow, flat racetrack with a lot of technical corners and a lot of slow corners. Couple that with big, long straightaways. We've already heard about the brakes and how hard it's going to be. This is a very, very difficult track, and these double-file restarts are really going to be exciting.
I think this is the type of track, Andy, that's going to force the drivers to overdrive this racetrack. It's real narrow. I expect some real aggressive driving today. And just like you said about the brakes, I do expect brake problems. And because of that, you're going to see some crashes. You're going to see some guys tearing the fenders off the cars. And I believe it's going to be one of the most aggressive races that we've seen all year long, especially on a road course.
When I hear you say aggressive, I think fun, Rusty. We look forward to seeing how it all unfolds over these next couple of hours. Talk to you more in just a couple of minutes. First, coming up, a closer look at this 14-turn track that's provided some really rough and tumble racing the last 3 years. We'll hear about some of the key corners to watch and why when the drivers will be behind the wheel in today's race. That and much more as the countdown to NASCAR continues from Montreal, where you'll see a lot of those Canadians jerseys today.
I don't really think about the fact that the track is named after my father. The memories I have, the first one I have is when my dad won his first F1 race, which was in '78, and it was freezing cold, so after on the podium he was wearing a winter coat. Winning in Montreal would be great, but also winning in NASCAR, because it is completely different than anything I've done before.
the first Canadian to winning the Indianapolis 500.
In '97, when I won the championship, I crashed on the second lap, so that was frustrating. There was a wall painted, "Welcome to Quebec," and that's exactly where I crashed. Great to race in the hometown. The fans here just love racing, whatever form it is in.
There are great fans at this track, and they'll be cheering hard for their man Villeneuve at the track named for his father. This speedway is located on a man-made island in the middle of the St. Lawrence River. For most of the summer, it's a wonderful park full of joggers, skaters, and bikers, but 2 weekends a year, it's a racetrack. The speedway opened in 1978, and Gilles Villeneuve scored the first of his 6 Formula One wins in the inaugural Canadian Grand Prix on this speedway. Villeneuve, a Canadian racing hero, though lost his life in a racing accident in May of 1982. The track was named in his honor a month later. His son Jack has carried on the family name in this sport quite successfully, winning the Indianapolis 500 in 1995 and 2 years later capturing the Formula One World Championship. Today he looks for a NASCAR win at the track that bears the family name. Shannon, he starts second.
Villeneuve, certainly a fan favorite here at Montreal. In fact, his crew chief, Trent Owen, says it's like being with Elvis here at this racetrack when he walks around with you. What is a day here at Montreal like for you from your perspective?
Well, it's when the race is on, of course, people are expecting to see racers, and there's a great atmosphere. The fans just love racing here, and whenever Formula One comes or NASCAR, the whole city is in party mode. And this weekend, with the weather, it's been amazing. Everybody's loving it.
Absolutely loving you out on that racetrack. I know in the past you've had some issues with your brakes. The team has said that they beefed them up, but what can you do inside the car to increase the longevity of them?
Brake earlier and drive slower, basically. But yeah, I've always been a late breaker, and that's how you overtake, and that's how we've made a lot of our lap time as well. So I'm happy that now I can rely on them a little bit more than in the previous races. But we managed to do the races. We managed to finish. It's just that it was holding me back, that's all.
Do you allow yourself to think about winning here in the Nationwide Series today?
Well, we've prepared for that. That's since Elkhart Lake. And that's also why we did the other races, to get ready for Montreal and to go for the win.
A lot of fans out here would love to see this 32 in victory lane. They are rooting him all the way. Alan?
Oh, they sure will be, Shannon. Thanks. Rejoined by Rusty and Andy now. Gentlemen, Villeneuve has been in 2 Nationwide Series races. Andy, he has sure been fast, but he hasn't had the brakes that could last.
Yeah, Alan, we heard him talking about how he makes time and he makes passes with these brakes. I mean, that's what his style is, and that's how he does so well on these road courses. You can see right here, I mean, just diving down in these corners. You see him trying to get 2 for 1 right here, getting into the corner at Road America. And this is how he drives, and this is why they love him so much. But now it's kind of up to the team, okay? We heard him say that they ran these races to try to prepare for Montreal, and I think that's going to be very key to them being successful, because they were able to develop their brake system. And now, like I said, it's up to the team to make sure that this car will hold up under Jacques Villeneuve and his style.
All right, Rusty, let's talk brakes in general. We've heard a lot of the drivers all weekend long talk about what a concern having brakes that'll last till the end of the race will be in this event. You're a driver, you're climbing in, you know that before the start of the race. How does it affect you?
Well, it affects you a lot. And really, mentally, you go into the race thinking totally different. I can't run every corner as hard as I want to run. So what you need to do in that instance is race when you only need to race. You don't have to run every single lap wide open. I used to go to the road courses worried about brakes, and I would approach it like I did Martinsville. Only race hard when you needed to. Let off the gas early, going in the corners. So there's a lot a driver can do, Alan, to manage those brakes, and that's what Jacques needs to do today, because they've told me that this particular track we're at now is the hardest in all of NASCAR for the brakes. So these guys are going to have to manage this stuff all day if they're going to be around at the end.
That's a term we'll hear throughout the race, managing the brakes. Now, there is one thing a driver can do from inside the car to help manage his brakes. For more on that, let's swing over to the Craftsman Tech Garage and bring in Tim Brewer. Tim?
One of the changes a driver can make inside the car is brake bias. What we mean by that, the pedal pressure on the front wheels compared to the rear wheels. Look at these gauges. We use the gauges to check and preset the bias on the car initially. But what we do, we have the driver. He's got control of this knob. He can transfer the pressure from the front to the rear. As the car burns off fuel, the car doesn't turn well getting into the corner. The driver can take brake pressure away from the front wheels, put it on the rear, enabling the car to turn through the center of the corner, making it faster.
Tim, thank you. We turn our attention from the car and the brakes now to this track that'll challenge the drivers in their brakes today. 14 turns, 2.7 miles around. Here are some of the key corners to watch from the driver's view.
As I approach turn 1, I'm really focused on keeping the car squared up under brakes. The corner's got a real bend to it under braking. Easy to lock up the left front tyre or the right front tyre as you do the switchback into turn 2, and that's one of the slowest corners on the track. Very little grip, but there's a lot of speed you made here by keeping tight to the inside rumble strip.
As you approach turn 3, you're coming up to one of the tightest, most technical sections on the track. With a really good run through there, carrying a lot of speed, you can get a good run on a guy through the blind right-hand sweeper, taken at the top of 3rd gear, going down into turn 6. That's a good place to pass. You can get down on the inside of somebody. You can use all the curb. You got to be careful not to wheel hop it. Get up on the curb, get a good run off of 7, and now you're on your way down to turn 8.
Approaching turn 8, turn 8-9, we're at the top of 3rd gear, probably close to 160 miles an hour. It's heavy braking. You're going under a bridge, and the chicane is quite slow. Again, it's a little bit different than the others, where the curb has a step to it, so you've got to be really precise.
As you enter the hairpin, corner 10 and 11, you're coming to a left-hander and you see the signs 5, 4, and as you get to 4, you start braking really hard because that's a 1st gear corner and you're coming in 3rd gear. So 2nd gear, 3rd gear, and the car moves side to side a little bit, and then you make a right because it's a very sharp corner. And the important thing there is on exit, you got to put the power down because that's the longest straightaway on the racetrack.
So you're coming down this long straightaway, you're in 4th gear, it's the fastest section of the racetrack, and here comes this corner. The first turn's to the right, and there's this huge curve, and if you hit that curve, the whole corner's shot. If you miss it just by a little bit, you can shoot right to the next curb on the left side. You can touch that one a little bit, but you don't want to too much. That wall will get you either way. You want to run right out to it and get a really good run to the start-finish line.
And it certainly appears there's a lot for drivers to remember when it comes to this racetrack. And Joey, for a guy like you, a guy with limited road course experience, what's it like coming to a place like this?
It's pretty cool. You know, I think the city itself is awesome, and the racetrack is pretty cool. It's a lot different than most racetracks that we go to, or road courses we go to. You know, Watkins Glen is definitely way different. You know, you got a lot more flowing turns, a lot more speed. This place seems like it's a straightaway, a lot of brakes, a right and a left, and a long straightaway again. So, you know, it seems like here you're focused on more, you know, how your car brakes and launches off the corner more than turning through the center, it seems like. So those are kind of the big things we focused on when we came here.
And despite your limited experience, you contended for the win at Watkins Glen, finishing 2nd. In terms of confidence, what did that do for you?
A lot, actually, you know, and it was surprising. You know, I got here and I was kind of lost again. You know, the first few laps I went out there and I was like, you know, I felt like we had the wrong gear in the car and this and that. And, you know, once I got a feel for it again, you know, it's been, you know, 2 years since I've been here, and then all of a sudden, you know, it all starts coming to you, and we found the speed back again. So I surprised myself at Watkins Glen. I surprised myself again at where we qualified. I feel like we got a really good GameStop Toyota today, and we got a shot at winning this thing. So, you know, strategy, I think, is going to be the biggest thing that's going to happen today. You know, is the way the fuel mileage turns out. I know we're all real close on making it on 2 stops or not. So hopefully cautions fall right and we do everything right, that we can have a really good race here at the end.
Well, I don't think it would surprise anyone, Alan, if he were to have a strong race today. After all, in his last 13 Nationwide Series starts, Logano has finished among the top 10.
Michael, thank you. We'll talk a lot about Logano today. A couple of other guys we'll talk about a lot today. Brad Keselowski, the series championship leader, and a guy with a great road course record this season. And Robbie Gordon, coming from the back. We'll explain why when NASCAR Countdown returns to Montreal.
Et maintenant, la première rangée. On the first row. Il partira deuxième. Starting second. Numéro 32. Number 32. Jacques Villeneuve.
Yes, the driver introductions sound a little bit different here in Montreal, just part of the great flavor that makes this event a great race as we come to you from Ile Notre Dame Island, right next to the downtown Montreal skyline. Brad Keselowski has a large lead in the NASCAR Nationwide Series Drivers' Championship, but the Owners' Championship is a tight fight between the Joe Gibbs Racing 18 team and the Penske 22. Brad Coleman will drive the Gibbs 18 today, while Brad Keselowski drives the Penske 22. Coleman starts in 10th place, while Keselowski, Vince, starts 8th.
Top two of the owner points, so even their haulers are parked next to one another. The 22 and the 18 always seem to be side by side. You've had your share of battles with the 18. Do you keep a close eye on where the 18 is during the course of a race when you guys are so close in the points owner-wise?
You know, not from a points perspective, but from a performance perspective, you know, all the Gibbs cars are just so fast. So, you know, they're going to be the cars to beat on any given weekend, and that's something I'm sure they're very proud of. So, we've finally gotten to that level here with Penske Racing where we feel like on any given week we can be up there and racing with them. So, you know, it's good to be racing with them.
You've had some solid results on the road courses for sure. What does it mean to you to be a guy who's considered to be a pretty good road course racer?
Well, I mean, I don't consider myself to be a real good road course racer. I see a lot of room for improvement. But it means a lot to me to finish well and run well at the end, you know, because it's not an area where I'm from. So you know, you feel when you run good, when you're out of your element, you know, you feel good about your team and about the things that you're working on. And, you know, I think we can do that here today at Montreal. Our Ruby Tuesday discount tire Dodge Charger was just fast off the truck, and it was a little better than I was, to be quite honest. So I'm pretty excited about today.
Yeah, they've had a lot to be excited about this year. Brad Keselowski. Alan?
All right, Vince, thanks. As always, at a road course, you'll see a lot of different faces in different places today. There are 15 drivers you'd consider road racing specialists in the field, among them Quebec natives Patrick Carpentier and Andrew Ranger, Ontario's Ron Fellows, and a couple of other NASCAR familiar faces, Boris Said and Robbie Gordon. Gordon making his first Montreal trip since the controversial 2007 finish. Now, in qualifying on Saturday, Robbie Gordon had some troubles that are going to force him to start from the back of the field. This is down at the hairpin corner. Gordon on a hot lap, watched the left front corner of his car. Brake parts and a brake cooling hose come out from under the machine. Under NASCAR's impound rules, Robbie Gordon, because his team chose to make repairs to that, will have to start at the back instead of in 16th position on the grid. So keep an eye on that 07 car coming up from the tail end of the field. Our J-Ski news and notes, NASCAR has announced it will cut the purses for the NASCAR Nationwide Series up to 20% next season to make the races more affordable to stage. R3 Motorsports, that fields the 23 car for Robert Richardson Jr., says it hopes to expand to a second team next year with driver Coleman Presley if they can find backing. And two-time series champ and ESPN analyst Randy LaJoie was reinstated by NASCAR this week from the June suspension of his crew member's license for a violation of NASCAR's drug testing policy. So what kind of action to expect today? Well, this was the last lap of the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series race about an hour ago. The 27 is Andrew Ranger. He's led the whole race. The 11 is Jason Bowles. He bumps him, goes through to the lead. That's in turn 10. But in turn 13 and 14, Ranger repays the favor. Bowles is in the wall. Ranger wins, much to the delight of the Quebec fans. Maybe we'll see a finish like that when the Nationwide Series goes racing for 200 miles shortly here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. The live scene in Montreal on race day at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, where the NASCAR Nationwide Series goes racing for just the 4th time ever this afternoon. It may be a relatively new event, but it's a really special one. The city, the setting, the fans all combining to make this a don't-miss weekend, one the teams and drivers really enjoy. It's a field packed with talent, from series champions and would-be champions to world champions and hometown favorites. One of them is going to get the checkered flag later today. Let's go trackside.
Let's welcome members from the RCMP for the presentation of colors. Accueillons les membres de la GRC pour la présentation des drapeaux. Et maintenant pour la prière aux pilotes, for the invocation, accueillons Monseigneur Robert Sansouci.
Seigneur, Dieu de l'univers, bénis toutes les personnes rassemblées ici pour cet événement. Tu as permis que tous les humains désirent se dépasser eux-mêmes et aillent jusqu'aux limites de leur capacité. Fais que tous les participants à cette course le fassent dans un véritable esprit sportif, dans le respect d'eux-mêmes et des autres concurrents. Almighty God, bless all the people gathered here for this event. Especially bless these drivers and the members of their teams, and make that, in spite of the risk they take each time they participate in a competition, they can complete this race healthy and without injury. We ask this to you humbly and with faith. Amen.
Mesdames et messieurs, veuillez maintenant retirer chapeaux et casquettes et vous lever pour l'interprétation des hymnes nationaux par Madame Marie-Christine Depestre. Ladies and gentlemen, please now rise and remove hats and caps for the national anthems as sung by Mrs. Marie-Christine Depestre.
Au Canada, terre de nos aïeux, ton front est ceint de fleurons glorieux, car ton bras s'est porté l'épée, il s'est porté la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Marie-Christine de Pestre.
So now the drivers get ready to climb aboard. The teams get ready to go to work. Here comes the flyover. Beautiful. Well, there's no question that while the local drivers, the local favorites, will get the biggest cheers, the pressure is all on one man, Marcus Ambrose, who's failed to win this race the last 3 straight years. He's determined to change that today. Is it going to work out for him? Or is it going to be another disappointing departure from Canada at day's end? The engines fire in Montreal next.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at Montreal is brought to you by Nationwide Insurance. Enter this code at codespotter.com for a chance to win a Roush Ford Mustang. And Pizza Hut and the new Big Italy Pizza. Almost 2 feet long with a big taste to match.
North of the border in the province of Quebec, city of Montreal, it's Ile Notre Dame, the man-made island where Circuit Gilles Villeneuve sits twice a year. The 14-turn, 2.7-mile road course that will challenge drivers of the NASCAR Nationwide Series a good bit for 200 miles today. Unlike the last couple of years when weather has been a factor in this race, it will not be a factor today other than being a great day to be outdoors. 84 degrees, sunny, just beautiful conditions under which these fans get to watch NASCAR drivers go racing on this 2.7-mile track. Before we get the engines fired up, let's head trackside. Here's Vince.
There are 2 major racing events held here in Montreal, the Formula One Canadian Grand Prix and the annual visit from the NASCAR Nationwide Series. This is the 4th time that NASCAR has been here to Montreal, and the fans have really turned out in force here this weekend. The previous 2 visits, the weather has been a factor with heavy rains, but the weather this weekend has been spectacular. And even though it's still an educational process for the Canadians with NASCAR, it is clear the Canadian fans love their racing, and they love their Canadian racers. None more so than Jacques Villeneuve. And for more on their local hero, here's Mike Massaro.
And that was quite obvious during qualifying yesterday afternoon, Vince. As Villeneuve battled with Marcus Ambrose for the pole, the crowd erupted into a wild frenzy. It was obvious he is among the most popular drivers in today's field. To deliver for them, however, he'll have to overcome some adversity. During that qualifying session, Villeneuve broke his shifter knob, and because of that, drove the last 2 laps of the session without it. He'll enter today with a broken shifter because by NASCAR rules, the team was not allowed to repair it without forfeiting their qualifying position. He'll face some challenges and perhaps even do some in-car maintenance, trying to fix that lever that'll be reaching for countless times this afternoon. Shannon?
Well, Mike, 19-year-old Trevor Bayne was so excited about making his first trip outside the United States, he ran around the airport flaunting his passport the same way he might show off his first NASCAR trophy. Now, according to his crew chief, Jerry Baxter, it is that enthusiasm and excitement that helps 19-year-old improve every time he comes to a brand new racetrack. It was a top 10 at Road America, and that is their goal here today. Alan?
All right, Shannon, thanks. It's been a long time since I took my high school French classes. I don't remember how you say, gentlemen, start your engines in French. And I'm not sure whether we're going to hear it in French or English today, but we're about 5 seconds from finding out. Let's go trackside and get this thing started.
Et maintenant, pour prononcer la phrase la plus célèbre dans le sport automobile. Now, to pronounce the most famous command in car racing, Monsieur Robert Atem, président et chef des opérations de UAP NAPA. Mr. Robert Atem, president and CEO of UAP NAPA.
Conducteurs, démarrez vos moteurs. Drivers, start your engines.
I want to see what 3840 is on the tach for him, okay? And I can give him a good reference. That'll be our pit road. You'll be able to 3840.
All right, so the answer is in both languages and with enthusiasm, and we certainly like that. So time to go racing here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the NASCAR Nationwide Series, 200 miles around this tremendously testing 2.7-mile, 14-turn track. Back upstairs with Rusty and Andy. I don't recommend running in a suit and tie in 90-degree weather, by the way. Rusty, let's talk about something that's concerned you as you look at the beginning of this race, which is the beginning.
Oh, I'm very concerned about the beginning of this race, Alan, especially going down into turn 1. 43 cars side by side going to that particular left-hander right there. It's going to be tough. All through practice, they've been single file, but when you bomb 43 of them down in there, they can wheel hop, they can bend fenders, they can spin out, and we've seen it before. That's my big concern right there.
Going to be interesting to see turn 1, lap 1. By the way, Marcus Ambrose has chosen drivers right, the outside lane on this racetrack for that initial start. Andy, road course races, strategy, always big. What are we going to see today?
Well, we really don't know yet what we're going to see, Alan, because, you know, these races have been affected by rain. Beautiful day out here. What that's going to mean is these cars are going to use a lot more throttle, a lot more brakes, and a lot more fuel. So it's going to be a two-stop race, but it's not a no-brainer. So some of these cars may have to save a little fuel. And then how much are they going to gamble on having cautions at the end? And it's always, we never know how they're going to do this, and it's going to be interesting to watch and follow these strategies.
Green-white checkers thrown in on the end. Late twisted plot. They've been a theme here in Montreal over the last few years. We'll see how the strategy plays today. Now, we've talked a little bit about Canadian national pride today. All the people here pulling for Carpentier and Villeneuve and Ranger. Well, how about a little Canadian national pride going over the wall for Jacques Villeneuve today? This is Sean Pete, the Jackman for the 32 car. Now, Sean's from the opposite end of Canada, right? You're a Vancouver Canucks guy, not a Canadians guy.
You got it. That's correct. As far west in Canada as you can go.
What would it mean to you to help a Canadian driver win at a track named for his father?
It'd be huge. Jacques is an iconic figure in Canada. I mean, so much so he was one of the 6 that presented the Olympic flag at the Vancouver Winter Olympics. So it's a big deal. You know, we'll give him 2 stops today and let him do the rest. And hopefully we're bringing the house down here in Montreal when it's all said and done.
There you go. Sean, thanks for carrying the camera. Be safe today. Have a great race.
Thanks, guys.
Sean Pete, Jackman for the 32 car today, getting ready to go over the wall and carry our over-the-wall reporter camera. Our in-race reporter and an onboard camera carrier is that man, driving the Harvick's 33 very potent machine today. Max Pappas is our in-race reporter. We will talk with him as they roll off for the pace and parade laps next. Well, you heard Marcus Ambrose mention earlier in NASCAR Countdown the terrific fight he and Jacques Villeneuve had in qualifying yesterday, trading fast lap throughout the final group session. But it was Ambrose who came out on top to win the Coors Light Pole Award here at Montreal for the 2nd consecutive year. The field forming up out on the racetrack for the beginning of their parade and pace laps. You take a look at the starting lineup across the top of the screen with Ambrose and Villeneuve. Boy, what a front row for this race. We've got 7 terrific onboard views for you today. Some great drivers to ride with. This is Tony Raines, the Nationwide Insurance camera, trying to make sure which yellow suit I was seeing there for Tony Raines. Justin Allgaier, the Verizon Wireless onboard camera. Justin's had his struggles on road courses. We'll ride on board with him today. Steve Wallace has got the 5-hour energy car lined up and ready to go. We'll ride with Steve today here in Montreal, as well as with the defending race winner, Carl Edwards. Got that little T-top shifter in his car again. We'll watch Carl work the gears at Montreal. Our pole sitter, Marcus Ambrose, has our little Debbie onboard camera. We'll ride with Marcus today as he attempts to finally win this elusive race. And then we've got a couple of trick shots, if you will. The foot cam on board with Villeneuve in the 32 from the outside of the front row. That is going to be fun to watch. Our Dollar General camera. And with our in-race reporter, Max Pappas, will have the foot shot as well, our Ream onboard camera. And let's talk with our in-race reporter now, Rusty.
Max Pappas, Rusty Wallace, ESPN. You got us?
Got you, Rusty.
Max, this is a 14-turn course. It's a really tough racetrack. My question to you is, what is the most challenging part of this racetrack for you?
The corner that we just passed is very difficult, you know, very bumpy. Every place in this track
free braking zone. It's very challenging. You know, you're gonna have to, you know, take care of your brakes, take care of your car, but be aggressive. And I mean, it's just a pleasure to drive the rain car today. And let me say thanks to Kevin and Dilana for the opportunity.
All right, Max, we got an ESPN mailbag question. It comes from Julie in Keene, New Hampshire. The question is, do you feel that driving the number 33 car today gives you your best chance to win on the road course that you've ever had?
It's a great opportunity. I'm going to go one corner at a time, and we see.
All right, Max, thanks for talking to us. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
Very interesting. One moment at a time. He didn't want to get too far ahead of himself.
Well, you could kind of feel the intensity level building up, though, for Max. He's got a great opportunity to win today, and he wants to take advantage of it.
Now, we are wondering what kind of finish we're going to see in this race today. Speaking of getting ahead of ourselves, we haven't seen the start yet, but Andrew Ranger, driving this 27 car, has already celebrated victory. The last lap of the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series race. Ranger in the 27 has led the whole thing. Here comes Jason Bowles in the 11 in turn 10 of 14. Bump, coming through, new leader. Well, problem was they still had a couple of corners to go.
Yeah, coming to the checker flag, last corner. And it stuffs Bowles right in the wall and gets the win. Ranger does.
And you knew Jason had it coming too, because he got in the back of Ranger and in the last corner for the win in front of these fans. Great win for him, though.
Ranger, a Quebec native, is now going to try for another memorable moment in his home province, Shannon, but he's going to have a little extra work to do.
That's right, Alan. And as you can imagine, Andrew Ranger had a huge smile on his face as he was getting ready to be introduced here for the Nationwide Series race. If he does plan on making it 2 for the day, definitely has his work cut out for him. That's because after qualifying 11th, he will have to start at the back of the field because of an engine change. I did speak with Ranger before he climbed in the car, and he said if things go his way and strategy works out, he feels they could have a top 10 finish here today. Mike?
Thank you, Shannon. Boris said has raced on road courses all over the world, and he says you will find no track anywhere as demanding on brakes as this one right here. Boris says he feels that will play into his hands. His vast experience in road course racing has enabled him to learn how to be conservative with brakes, in particular in his endurance style of racing. Today, his plan is to be conservative. Hold back, race the racetrack for the first 90% of this race, but in the final 10%, make a mad dash toward the front, hoping to pick up his first career Nationwide Series win. Vince?
Quebec native Patrick Carpentier is in a NASCAR Nationwide Series car for the first time since this race 1 year ago. He's finished runner-up here twice at Montreal, and he believes he's got a car that can contend for the victory again today. He's a huge celebrity in this area. He's raced and won a lot of races in his life, but when I asked him what it would mean to go to victory lane today, his eyes lit up and he didn't have to say a word. Winning is always special, but Carpentier doesn't pretend to hide what it would mean for him to win in Montreal today. Alan Bestwick.
All right, Vince, thanks. Now, remember Jack Villeneuve, Mike did his report a minute ago about the shifter knob and perhaps some attempted repairs on board the car by the driver. Well, this from the onboard camera on the pace lap a minute ago. He pulls over, he stops, waves everybody by.
This is typically when they change their steering wheel position, or, you know, they're allowed to do that, pull over on the side and make some adjustments in the cockpit. You see, he's definitely working on that shifter.
All right. And gets to resume his position in line on the racetrack before the start.
Yeah, that's totally legal. That's no problem to do that.
I'm trying to figure out how he could fix it by beating on it.
Hey, get a bigger hammer.
Usually they're screwed down on there or they're bolted in, but he just hammered down on that baby with his hands. So it's yet to be seen if that's going to stick and hold on for him. That's going to get a lot of usage today.
Come on, you've hammered on some things a time or two when they weren't working right, haven't you?
Well, I've had a front camera beat on those fenders trying to get downforce out of these cars and stuff like that, but never my shifter handle.
And just to reiterate again, the impound rules, he worked on it from inside the car on the pace lap. He's fine. Otherwise, if the crew had fixed that this morning, he would have gone to the back of the field for the start. Now, some storylines to follow during this 200-mile event here in Montreal. Robbie Gordon feels like he should have won the race back in 2007, but he ran afoul of officials that day. Robbie looking for revenge from the back of the pack, and not revenge, but redemption for Marcus Ambrose.
Yeah, Marcus got kind of bumped out of the way by Robbie Gordon the first year. He's made a couple mistakes to lose the last couple of years.
You see, Jacques Villeneuve's home track, everybody's wanting him to win. He's going to have a lot of self-induced pressure to get the job done, to get this baby in victory lane. He's definitely got the speed.
Can you imagine what this place will be like if Villeneuve or Carpentier were to win this race at the end of the day? It will be something something to see. Our track facts as we get ready for the start. 74 laps around this 2.7-mile track to get just a shade over 200-mile distance.
Yeah, we'll look at that pit window around 28 laps. That's what they can run on the outside on that fuel tank. You'll see some teams probably gamble a little bit to try to stretch that as far as working this race backwards from the end, and may try to pit with about 30, maybe 32 laps to go.
A lot of the teams I've talked to are expecting their very first pit stop, Andy, around lap 2021, because they've had to qualify on the fuel that was in the car, and they have not had an opportunity to refuel. That's NASCAR's rule. So they're going to have less fuel in the tank right now when they start this race.
I think those guys with that sign have been here all 4 years. I think
Really?
they have. Yeah, because we've seen that sign before.
Maybe it'll work today for him.
There you go. Great crowd on hand, beautiful weather, and we're hoping for another great, memorable Montreal race. This race has been filled in its first 3 years with late twists of plot, drama at the end of the race, some surprise winners at the end of the day. And it has certainly been filled with a lot of contact, a lot of incidents, and some tempers from time to time. We'll see how this one plays out over the course of the 200 miles.
And you talk about tempers and how it's going to play out. I'm really concerned about this turn one, like we talked about at the beginning of our broadcast. I mean, can you imagine, Alan, 43 cars, 180 miles an hour, bombing into this hairspin left turn you're looking at right there, folks. That's going to be a tough one. A lot of them last year actually landed on what I call the island right there in the center. And the rule there is if you get out there, you got to stop and then go. Here's the problem, though. You pull right back on the racetrack in front of the oncoming traffic, and you got to be really careful when that happens.
I think it's interesting that Marcus Ambrose chose the right side getting into the first turn he's going to come to. He's actually going to be on the outside. He's counting on getting enough lead that he can have the inside on that second turn so he can have that down the straightaway. But kind of leaving himself vulnerable, I think, a little bit on that very first lap.
Figure he and Villeneuve are going to be really testing those brakes in that first corner, huh?
Yeah, well, we know Villeneuve is.
All right, the Olympic rowing basin where they held the rowing events in the 1976 Montreal Olympics. To the right, as you look at your picture, as the drivers come down this longest straightaway here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, they'll come to the final couple of corners onto the pit straight and the green flag for today's 74-lap event. Massive crowd, beautiful weather, great field of drivers, all the ingredients for a spectacular afternoon. Now all we need is one thing. Let's get going.
Let's have a good race. We're ready.
Here they come. Ambrose, 47. Villeneuve, 32. Ready for the start of the 4th NASCAR Nationwide Series race at Montreal. Can you say hole shot?
Yeah, he got a good jump right there, and that was the key to making it where he can run anywhere he wants to on the racetrack right through these two turns. But look at these double file.
Look at the accordion.
Oh, here it goes. A lot of give and take right here.
Yeah, there was a lot of give and take, but I saw some guys hitting each other's bumper through there, almost stopped trying to make it through. And boy, what a tight corner right here to entry at turn 3.
Logano squeezes in front of Leffler. Villeneuve managed to hold off Edwards in Edwards' bid to get inside for second in the first couple corners.
You see Max Pappas now making a pass on Brad Coleman.
These drivers are probably already thinking about the brakes, thinking about things they got to manage. I talked to quite a few of them, and they were very concerned about getting around the course, letting it spread out. And I believe we just saw one car in the back go around, guys.
There it is. Justin Marks in the 43.
It's like he's disabled there.
He is over in turn number 7 of the 14 turns, and the question is, you see the official walking out to him as he pulled off in a safe spot. Where will we be able to continue? We'll keep an eye on that. 3rd place, Logano, Edwards, 20 and 60.
Starting down the back straightaway here, this long straightaway, one of the longest in all of NASCAR. Drivers reach about 180 miles per hour as they enter turn 13.
Now, this is the part of the race that you want to really use the brakes to your advantage, because you can gain a few spots right here. You see Carl Edwards is going to dive out here and try to outbrake. Logano doesn't get it done there, but this is the time to actually use them before they get strung out too far. Then you can start saving the brake.
Now, there are rules about that last curve you're seeing right there. If you miss it, if we see somebody, we'll tell you what it's about, but you can't just cut that corner short if you get it wrong going in there.
You know, watch him exit in turn 14, way up on that curb. The car's in the air. They do that a lot. They could really tear up the brake scoops, fenders, stuff like that, Andy. That'd be one concern of mine.
Those curbs are very violent and very destructive to the car, so drivers are really going to have to watch it over those curbs.
All right, after the first lap shakeout, scoring coming by top of your screen. You see Logano got by Edwards to pick up the 3rd spot, while Villeneuve pursues Ambrose at the front of the pack. And Mark's car able to be pulled to a safe area, so we stay under green.
And boy, that's a tough deal for Justin Marks. He's disabled over there, can't get the car going. First lap of the race.
Yeah.
Big race. That's a sickening feeling.
Down to turn 8.
Now, this is the part where if I was Jock, I'd really be managing these brakes right now. Don't drive too hard. Get a good feel of this car.
Well, it kind of looked like he gave up a little bit getting into those 2 turns right there, so he is maybe easing up on those brakes.
Check downstairs, Mike.
And Alan, as Rusty was alluding to, this is a good time, as is all the race, for Jacques Villeneuve to conserve those brakes. In each of the 2 road course races this year, he's encountered some brake problems, so much, in fact, that team needed to make some major adjustments coming into this race. I talked to crew chief Trent Owen earlier this weekend, and he said they changed the master cylinder, the pedal box, and there's trouble on the racetrack for his teammate, the 10 car, getting off. But the brakes were certainly an issue they addressed coming in. They feel like they've got a better package this time around, however.
All right, that Taylor Malsom spin was at the exit of turn 9, coming down to the hairpin. You see he was able to fire it up and keep going. 59 of Kyle Kelly involved there. Or was he the first one to go? Yep.
He may have got a little contact, and you see the 10 get tagged trying to avoid it. Looks like that's Andrew Ranger getting some damage from that, too, and he'd already gained about 13 spots since the start.
And wrinkled up his fender pretty good. Ranger running in 31st now. Marcus Ambrose got the lead off the start. He is out in front here in Montreal. First caution out here in the NAPA 200 at Montreal. Piece of sheet metal from one of the race cars laying at the exit of the final corner, turn 14. And so they'll gather up the field behind the pace car and send the safety workers out to pick that up. Now, all kinds of things happening throughout the pack in this. Let's take a minute and show you some of it. Andrew Ranger off the course. We saw the 59 car go around, and it was because of contact with the 27. Watch coming off this corner.
Well, actually, the 27 is trying to avoid some of this.
I'm sorry, the 10 car.
Yeah, and you see right there, Andrew Ranger gets his hood really killed, and he's back in the pit, Shannon.
You see him in the garage right now. He does have his window net up, and the guys are working on this car. Broken radiator is what they said, so they're going to try to get that replaced and try to get him back out on the track. But I told you before we went green, he had high hopes for this weekend. This team has actually been very good on road course this season. They were really looking for a strong run here at Montreal today.
Well, that's a tough break for the Quebec native. Now, just as we were about to see the full course caution, Brad Keselowski, 22, Brad Coleman, 18, racing for a spot.
Uh-oh. Little contact here. This goes back to a race that we had at Elkhart Lake earlier in the year where they had some contact. I believe that might have been a little payback.
Remember, the 18 was leading. 22 bumped him on a restart. 18 was no longer leading. And so this racing for 9th position on the 3rd lap of the race.
It's like Brad Coleman's got a long memory. It's all the way back to Road America. On a restart here, you see Brad Coleman in the 18 leading the race.
Down the hill toward turn number 1. It's Keselowski right behind him in the white car. When they got to the corner, coming through.
And the drivers remember that. Coleman remembered that. He said, my next shot is when we get up to Montreal. And boy, he set him up and got into him, got himself sideways, but I think that he might have got a little damage on that left front fender by doing that.
Yeah, all right.
See some.
Here's what the 22 had to say on his radio.
You knew that was coming. Left, right side here, lined up here. All right, I'd say we're even now. Yeah, we're more than even. He lost his fender.
Well, I guess the 18 probably got a little more damage out of that than Brad Keselowski did, but he did lose a few spots.
Another look at it in the corner. And you saw the wrinkle on the left front fender of the 18 car. We'll see if that affects the handling of that machine as we go through much of the distance in Montreal. Verizon Wireless customers, text CHAMPION to 43776 for exclusive Champion Chats content from the NASCAR Now Roundtable experts. Justin Allgaier in the Verizon Wireless car, chugging around under caution in 20th place as we get ready to go back racing here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. Couple things to catch you up on during the caution flag. Robbie Gordon, remember, he had to drop to the back of the pack from 16th starting spot after shedding that brake cooling hose and duct during his qualifying lap. Well, Robbie made some progress in the early part of the race, and now he's back at the back of the pack again.
Well, he's passed a lot of cars at the back, and he can pass them pretty easily. And it's a good opportunity to just come in and get some tires and maybe even make an adjustment. Found something that maybe he could make his car a little bit better, come in and make those changes and go back and start over.
Yeah, when you're back there, it's almost like a free stop. He can do whatever he wants. Mike, what's he saying down there?
Well, guys, actually, they didn't take any tires at all. They stopped on consecutive laps just to pack it with fuel. It seems like that's their strategy.
Well, okay, tires cost money. Gas is free.
Got to do something different than everybody else is doing if you're going to get some track position, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. When you're stuck back there, you say, okay, what can I do to use this to my advantage? And, you know, you start figuring different strategies, and I'm sure they've got something up their sleeve.
Gas isn't free for most of us. But of course, with the Sunoco fuel for NASCAR's National Series, it is.
Yeah, they provide, Sunoco provides fuel for all these cars, and yeah, like I say, you got to pay for those tires when you put them on.
That's it. All right, doubling up for the restart. Here's a look at that left front on the 18 car.
It's got some pretty good damage there. See that quarter panel now on the 10 car as he goes by, or the 11 car actually, I'm sorry. A lot of contact back through there.
Three laps in and already got some body men shaking their heads saying, well, glad we don't have another road course race this year. And in fact, don't have another road course race with this car, because next year the road course races will be with the next generation car. Bring nothing back but the steering wheel kind of day?
Kind of a throwaway.
You never know. Added a lap to the caution. We'll come back for the restart to Montreal. Make sure to go to Goodyear.com and check out Goodyear's Support Our Troops program. There you can send a thank you message from a NASCAR driver, enter for a chance to win a 2011 Ford Taurus, or win other great prizes. Learn more at Goodyear.com. We are getting the signal right there that we're going to go back racing when the field gets to the start-finish line. Seeing some strategy unfold. Robbie Gordon talked before the race about giving up his 16th starting spot and going to the back of the field. He was going to have to try something different than everyone else to try and get some track position back, because all that matters to him today is to win. So, Andy, we've seen him stop 3 times on pit road now under this caution and top off the fuel. What's the end game?
Well, what he's probably trying to do is he's gambled a lot that he can make it on just one more green flag stop. And that would mean he would have to go 35 and 34 laps now in these next 2 segments. That's outside of everybody's fuel range, but if you get enough cautions, you can do it. I mean, we've run quite a few laps under caution here. You get about twice the fuel mileage under caution that you do under green. So if we get enough caution laps, he might win that gamble.
I can't see anything wrong at all with having more gas in your car than anybody. And that's what he's got right now. So it gives him the option in case something crazy does happen. And just like you guys said, we have seen crazy things at this racetrack.
Yes,
a lot of cautions. We have no idea how many there's going to be. But I do like Robbie coming in, putting that fuel in their car and have that option.
Look at the crowd. What a great event this has become.
Well, Villeneuve got jumped pretty good on that first initial start. I wonder if he's going to make an adjustment here.
Well, have a look at what we saw from on board as he came to the start. Remember, we got the foot cam on board the 32 car with Jack. And watch how he was working that brake and gas as he was alongside Ambrose.
You see kind of the cat and mouse game going on right there between Ambrose and Villeneuve. Absolutely, Ambrose won that one.
To borrow a line from someone, so was he the cat or the mouse?
Well, I don't know. That time he was the mouse.
Well, a lot of time as a driver, when you got beat the first time, you don't want to get beat that second time. So you're kind of upping your game a little bit more. You got the tires warmed up. I know he wants to get in the lead.
But that complication, he can't beat Ambrose to the start-finish line.
Yeah, the only thing he can do is try to just react as quick as he can to Ambrose's jump. And Ambrose, he's going to try to maybe play that to his advantage. We saw him do that last time.
Yep. That'd be one way to get Villeneuve out of his hair. Have him be serving a pass-through penalty. Yeah, we'll see. Pace car off. Here they come. Watch that start-finish line. Watch the 47 and the 32. Restart zone starts right there. Wow.
Hey, got him again.
Oh, Ambrose must be talking to John Force or something like that.
Now Edwards again to try and stick the nose to the inside of Villeneuve in 2. Oh, accordion contact.
There we go. Edwards got a little fender under there, and he's not going to make it.
Look at him back there.
3 wide. That's cool.
Now, did Carl get any fender damage?
Not sure. He stuck his nose in there pretty early in the race, trying to force that. Later in the race, you'll see people try to force the issue in that corner.
What he did get was 3rd place back from Logano.
Yeah, he did.
Hey, those first 2 corners are the most stressful part of the race. Trying to get yourself in line when you're getting the back of you run into and guys in front of you are stopping. You got to have a lot of patience going through this part of the racetrack on the first get-go of every single restart.
Boris Ed told us in our track description from the drivers at the beginning how this was such a technical and complex part of the track. Down to turns 8 and 9. Brendan Gaughan, 62.
Oh, no contact there.
That's Alex Kennedy in the 23, the youngster out of New Mexico. J.R. Fitzpatrick in the 7.
Well, we kind of set that up. You saw Brendan Gaughan. He was protecting the right side of the racetrack when he went into that right-hand turn, so he didn't get somebody inside of him, and that put Fitzpatrick kind of at a disadvantage.
Parker Kligerman, the inside move on Kennedy. That's going to be for 17th place.
These guys can't use these cars up too much because they're not near as tough as a new car that's coming for next year in the current Sprint Cup car. Pretty weak in the front end. They bend these fenders up, and these things don't handle real good after that happens.
Kligerman in that bright red Dodge now looking to hold that spot through the right, left final corners. Look out, that wall comes up quick.
I'll tell you, Kennedy gave him a lot of room right there. That was some good racing. Shannon?
Parker Kligerman had a long weekend. He actually broke a sway bar in final practice and didn't get many laps before he had to go out for qualifying. He was a little bit nervous before he went out because he had to qualify on time. Great kid inside that car, part of the Penske development driving, and he is looking forward to this race today. It is his first road course in the Nationwide Series.
He did run an ARCA race on the road course and won it, so those guys down there on his team are very optimistic about today.
Big pressure for 2nd place here. Ambrose is gapped a little bit.
Oh, man, we got some,
right back in the same group.
Kennedy.
This looks like Brian Scott, Alex Kennedy there, tore all up.
Like Brian Scott's got some real damage.
That is in turns 3 and 4.
He's destroyed the back of that car.
Oh, yeah.
Driver's side, rear.
Yeah, he's done.
That's a big hit out of Brian.
I'm all right. We got
no caution yet. They're still racing on another part of the track, so there's not a factor just yet.
Yeah, there's going to be one in a second, though, and here it comes. Yellow flag out, and another look at what happened here.
Oh, looks like Alex Kennedy just lost it, man, and just slams into Brian Scott.
Bad luck for Brian.
Yeah.
Just a victim on that one.
From Justin Allgaier.
Oh, and he almost got by. Man, that's too bad.
Wow, we just about got wrecked.
Ooh.
And boy, that's getting blindsided just like that. Brian's got to be saying, what in the world just happened? I didn't see that coming at all.
All right, so yellow flag number 2 in that 11 car as he tries to drive it back around. Is going to be shedding parts and pieces of metal. And
I can't believe how bad that car got tore up. It was a hard hit, but I didn't think it was that hard to tear the whole back of the car clear off.
Those guardrails don't give.
No, they don't. You're right. And these cars are, like I said, not near as strong as these new ones they got coming. Boy, look at that thing.
He might be best to just park that thing and let him bring it in on a wrecker for whatever's left of it. Second caution out, 7 laps complete in Montreal. Well, baseball's got its Yankees, but hockey's got its Montreal Canadiens 24 times. Stanley Cup champions, the museum down by Bell Center commemorating some of the history of hockey's greatest franchise. Look at those rings.
Hey, look at that scoreboard.
A Boston fan like me is just jealous. I'll say it out loud right now. Canadian fans everywhere around Circuit Gilles Villeneuve as we watch action reminiscent of a Bruins-Canadiens game over at the Old Forum. A lot of body checking going on out here. This is Brad Coleman and Brad Keselowski. Don't you think those guys have a rivalry like Bruins-Canadiens going on?
That was almost offsides right there.
And then the reason for the second caution of the race. Oh, Alex Kennedy losing control. And
now that's a body check.
Brian Scott, yeah. That might be called for boarding if it was a hockey game. Coming back around and dropping bits and pieces is Brian Scott, just trying to drive it back in. Maybe he subscribes to the Ken Schrader theory that if you drive it in, it doesn't go on your resume as a wreck.
I always counted him when he drove my car in like that.
That wouldn't work with me now.
Yeah, I know it.
I'd count that against you.
He turned one of mine over one time on a road course.
Really?
Schrader did, yeah.
Well, I'm not sure how to answer that, except, things happen. Hey, don't forget, Tuesday night, NASCAR Now is on late night, 1 a.m. Eastern Time, with all the latest going-ons in racing as we get ready to go to Atlanta. The NASCAR Nationwide Series on Saturday night, 6:30 Eastern, ESPN2. The NHRA Mac Tools U.S. Nationals. It's Labor Day weekend. It's the U.S. Nationals at Indy for the NHRA. Qualifying Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern and 5 Eastern, ESPN2. The finals on Labor Day at 1 Eastern on ESPN2. And don't forget the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series back in action next weekend. Sunday, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN. From Hotlanta, we begin with NASCAR Countdown at 7 Eastern. Just a couple guys at the back of the pack have pitted under this caution. While they continue the cleanup, we'll whip through another break and come back for the restart in Montreal. Back live at the NAPA 200 in Montreal. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. Wrapping up what is the second caution already of this race in just its first 9 laps. Couple of crashes as we get ready to go back racing, have shuffled things around. Marcus Ambrose has led all the laps so far. Brad Keselowski, the championship leader, runs 12th. Biggest mover in the field, Tommy Dreese, the Trans Am star, who's up 14 spots. And highest running rookie is Colin Brown, who runs in 15th position.
Well, just about the time I keep talking about the restarts and going into turn 1, what is this going to be, the 3rd or 4th time now they've got to go through there?
Yeah, a 3rd one. And Marcus Ambrose got to try and get that jump on Jack Villeneuve again.
It's been an accordion every single time they go through the turn 1 and 2. Real slow portion of the racetrack. In fact, Marcus Ambrose told us at the beginning of the race that he thinks one of the key spots to make up some time is a very slow corner on the exit of turn 2. He likes to be really tight to the inside of that corner.
You know, the first part of this field can get through that turn pretty well if they give and take some, but then it starts to stack up. Like I said, that accordion effect really starts backing everybody's braking point up, and it kind of catches those guys in the back by surprise when you see them get into each other.
So far, no real heavy fender damage in the accordion. We'll see if they get lucky a 3rd time. Watch for the restart zone markers. On this side of the left side of the screen, as you look at it, there'll be orange cones stuck in the fence. There's the restart zone. There he goes.
Like Joey Logano's got position now on Villeneuve.
To the grass, and he got into the side of Villeneuve. Edwards trying to make something happen.
See some smoke coming off that 20 car now off the left front fender.
Yeah,
Big
a lot
time
of damage.
Oh, yeah.
Big damage, Joey Logano, left front. If that's rubbing the tire now, it could blow out in just a lap or 2.
Question is, any damage also to the right rear of that 32?
Comes by, check for rub.
It looks like Villeneuve's car's okay. Logano's going to have a problem with that left front, though.
Yeah, especially when he gets down into the turn.
Tire rub on the left.
Probably needs to pit that car right away, because when he gets down that long straightaway and that right-hand turn into 13, it's really going to rub there.
See Carl trying to set him up for a pass right here.
Tell you, Andy, these restarts, especially into turn 1 and 2, we see this stuff at this particular track a lot.
And it's lap 11. Think what it's going to be like on lap 70.
Edwards trying the outside of the hairpin. Turn 10. Now the left-hand kink. Turn 11.
Yeah, this is going to work for Carl right here. Got a good run off the corner. He's going to get this, make this pass on Logano. I'm sure Logano ought to think about pitting here.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with that much.
Bad.
Yeah, he can pit right here, fix that, and get out without losing a lap.
What are you going to do? I think you need to come.
You see Boris making it. Yeah, here he comes to pit road. Boris said makes the pass before he goes.
That's a smart move of Joey Logano.
Smart.
Go ahead and take it right now. Put some fuel in this thing. Get that fender back out. Look at the big picture. What's the big picture? His Cup car. That's the big picture. Risk versus reward. And I think this is a good thing he's just done.
I think it's good for the race. If he fixes his fender, gets some tires on it, gets it full of fuel, gets out without losing a lap, he might be able to roll the dice here and make it on one more stop. Mike?
And And everybody ready to go in action. The team ready as Joey comes down pit road, hits his marks right on the spot. The car's been a little bit tight, especially when he's been hitting the curbs. Not making any serious adjustments, however. Perhaps an air pressure adjustment on the 20 car. 4 tires, and Kevin Kidd's instruction to the team, make sure we pack this car with fuel. They don't want to leave anything to chance. The work on the left side still going on right now. A little bit slow on the front. They've got a problem there. They finally do complete that tire change, pulling away the fender.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
No.
And then stall the car. Logano slow out of pit as he stalls the car. Caution on the racetrack.
Mike got a 5-car jam up out on the backside of the racetrack that has blocked the track for a moment. Robbie Gordon's in it.
Paulie Haraka, he's tore up big time.
See Morgan
Ricky
Shepherd.
Ricky Stenhouse.
Man, Stenhouse car's got a huge amount of damage on the front. He can't even see.
Unbelievable, guys.
I'll tell you, that's a big break for Logano. He makes that pit stop, gets the tires, gets the repairs, and back out on the track now. With this caution coming out, he can catch back up.
He could probably come back down now again and really reshape that left front fender more yet.
Yeah, he might want to stay out, though. If they've got it fixed, he might want to stay out here because some of the cars might make pit stops at lap 11 and 12. Probably going to be a few laps getting this cleaned up.
This whole race strategy thing's getting ready to change right now with all these cautions about when these guys come down to pit for fuel and tires and get them in their window to make it to the end of this race.
All right, Tony Raines all torn up. All right, let's go back and reconstruct a couple things. First, the Logano damage on the restart, trying to get second from Villeneuve.
He almost got forced off the track, but, you know, trying to come back on the track, and he just gets into the left rear of Villeneuve.
Yeah, you can't hardly steer the car at all. You saw it in the mud, shooting up all the grass and everything on Logano's car.
And how about Jack seeing him coming and moving up a lane in that second corner to keep from getting hit harder? Watch him move up off the bottom here.
Whoa. Yeah, he did. He made a nice defensive move.
About 10 back.
You can see, you know, Logano does a good job of trying to get position.
Trying to look right side, 09. Just at 20 now. Easy, easy. There you go, right side, 09.
Edwards has chosen to pit under this caution, Vince.
Yeah, 4 tires, fuel, of course, and they're going to make a slight air pressure adjustment. Says it's a little bit loose, but overall pretty good for the 60 of Carl Edwards. And by the way, on that earlier contact where they had a little stack 'em up going into one, no damage to the hood for Carl Edwards, or to the front end. Now they seem like maybe they've got a problem. They've stopped Carl.
Go.
Drew Blickensderfer had called for Carl to stop.
The light was red, so we had to make sure we stopped, you know.
The light was red on pit road, so they had to make sure that Carl stopped, but no issues with the car. Alan.
That's just on the exit there. They have to let the field go by and then line up behind the cars that did not pit.
No, boy.
Yeah, he's done.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr., one of the 5 cars involved in the wreck that has put out the 3rd caution flag in the race. Let's see if we can figure out what happened. That's Nemechek getting nipped by Kyle Kelly in the 59.
Oh, and there comes Raines. He gets into the back of Mike Wallace. And there comes the big
See, Paulie Haraka tries to go to the inside, just can't get the car turned down there.
Kelly's track gets blocked right here, and then Robbie Gordon does a really good job of getting stopped. And then he gets nailed by Stenhouse right here.
Andy, that's the second time that Kelly's got involved in an incident. He spun the first time now, this crash.
And Robbie Gordon, he barely gets a nick in this. He gets hit in the back, but it doesn't look like he took much damage.
Stenhouse hit him in the rear. That's where he saw the damage come from his car. But Robbie's car held up pretty well.
Mike Wallace got hit. McDowell squeezing through.
It's a very narrow track, and it's just hard to get around some of that stuff.
Well, there is the damage on Robbie Gordon's car.
Robbie's car.
Yeah, he got more than it looked like initially.
Yeah.
Robbie's probably saying right now, I just want to go home. They're beating me up too bad here.
20 car. Extended service on that left front corner, trying to brace that fender up. It's been an action-packed start of this NASCAR Nationwide Series race in Montreal.
Move out of the way.
Rugged would be the word I would use to describe the beginning of today's NASCAR Nationwide Series race at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. We've run 13 laps. 7 of them have been behind the pace car. 3 caution flags in the opening part of this race have stacked up this field, and we continue to run behind the pace car. Marcus Ambrose has been the only leader so far. Huge Sunday night baseball game tonight in the American League East. Tampa Bay Rays tied with the Yankees for the division lead. The Red Sox 5.5 games back, trying to get back into the playoff hunt. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball from Tampa at 8 Eastern. Then the National League East featured on ESPN's Monday Night Baseball at 7 Eastern. David Wright and the Mets face Jason Hayward and the Braves. Both games available on ESPN3.com.
Tell you what, that dirty stuff right there, all the oil dry they put on the track, they can blow it off and clean it up. But I actually watched Alex Kennedy come through and hit a lot of that, and I personally think that's what caused him to spin and get into Brian Scott. And I think these guys are definitely going to have to negotiate that slick racetrack for at least a couple laps after they get going.
Well, Robbie Gordon was on pit road a lot for fuel strategy earlier. Now he's on pit road for repairs to the back end of that 07 car.
Yeah, it changed a lot of things. Man, look at you see the 87. Both of Joe Nemechek's cars got torn up.
Yeah, and the 87 and 06 teams are being asked to have a little visit with officials after the race because they continue driving around the racetrack, distributing some of that fluid that's being cleaned up now. How about our in-race reporter, Rusty? Max Pappas is running in 6th.
Max Pappas, Rusty Wallace, ESPN, you got us?
Roger, Rusty.
I don't know what it looks like from your seat, Max, but that turn 1 and 2 and those restarts look pretty troublesome.
As you can see, people are over-aggressive, and you gotta be aggressive, but you gotta have to be opportunistic at the same time. So, I'm still taking care of my car. I haven't really pushed it too hard, and it looks like the track is covered in oil right now, so hopefully it's gonna get cleaned up soon.
Max, we noticed the track covered in oil, like you just said, and they do the best job they can to clean it up. But when you have to drive over that oil dry, does the car get really slippery out there? Is it slick right now?
Just trying to actually find out if it's going to be grip on that patches or not, because you're going to have to be on it when the race is green. So, it's tough. You don't want to be on it, but you have to, and just one of those deals.
All right, buddy. Thanks for talking to us. Have a great run.
Be interesting to see how that plays with which lane of cars on the restart and where it begins on the racetrack, and if somebody goes a little slipping and sliding.
It's going to impact some of the cars on this next restart.
All right, so while they continue to clean that up, we'll take another break. Marcus Ambrose, Jack Villeneuve, the top 2 at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. Who says you have to have a beach to be a surfer? The St. Lawrence River, where some of the rapids work their way through. Some of these guys have been surfing right in that one spot all weekend long. That water's got to be cold.
Yeah, my luck, I get out there, there'll be sharks out there.
No, come on now. Fun on a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Montreal, as just adjacent to the surfing spot is Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, where the NASCAR Nationwide Series continues to run under caution. Some of the drivers we would consider road racing specialists and where they rank in this race. Patrick Carpentier's moved up nicely, a couple of spots in the opening run.
Good smooth run out of Carpentier, just keeping that thing on track and managing those brakes. We talked a lot about the brakes earlier, and Andy, you said a little while ago, hey, I don't think there's going to be a problem because we keep having these cautions, and you're probably right. That's bringing longevity into these brakes.
Yeah, it's really changing the fuel mileage calculations too. So, a lot of crew chiefs down there thinking, well, I might want to recalculate now with all these cautions we're having if it's going to keep it up.
Carl Edwards pitted from 4th. He's now in 24th position on the racetrack. Did they mean to have him come into pit on this yellow?
Well, Alan, he was the only front runner that came to pit lane, that's for sure. But he and Drew Blickensderfer, Carl Edwards and his crew chief, Drew Blickensderfer, did have that conversation, but certainly looks as though it's working out for the best.
Yeah, I thought you might have been trying to tell me to stay out, but it was too late, man. I had to go with what I knew.
That's about 3 laps shorter than I wanted to come, but I think this caution is going to be 4 or 5 laps. And the way this race is going with cautions, I think that's going to be okay for us.
Okay, 10-4, yeah, that'll be nice. Be in front of all those guys at least for a while anyway.
Lap 16 gets us to where we can make it on one more stop, and you're coming to lap 13 right now, so we're still close.
Yeah, so that was conversation from a few laps ago. Now on lap 16, coming to lap 16, I just spoke with Blickensderfer a moment ago, and he said, we're good to go, no problem. We're going to go one more stop. So certainly looks as though this strategy might be paying off for Carl Edwards here in the early going. Alan?
All right, Vince, interesting to follow how the I wasn't supposed to pit, but I did, and it's going to work out strategy for Carl Edwards runs throughout the afternoon. We're going to restart, but they've called it off to clean up some more of this oil dry, so let's check with one of the drivers involved in this 5-car wreck that's put us under yellow. Shannon?
And Ricky Stenhouse down here helping his guys work on this car, trying to get it back out onto the racetrack. Really no place to go. What goes through your mind when you see something like that happen right in front of you?
That was kind of tough. We were coming around the blind corner there, and as soon as I got around, spotter said, you know, they're stacking up, and I got in the brakes and locked them up and just slid right into, I think, Robbie Gordon. So, you know, sorry to his guys, but it's unfortunate for our City Financial team. We're just kind of riding around there trying to bide our time and, you know, just try to get to the end and worry about racing at the end. But got caught up in that, but these guys are going to work hard, get this thing back out there and make some laps.
This team really has improved over the past couple months. How important is it for you to get back out there today?
Oh, it's important for us to get back out in any race, but over the last month and a half, we've been running a lot better, been running a lot faster. You know, this road course is not really my style of racing, but we were learning, and we got faster all week, and just glad to be able to do it, and hopefully we can get back out there.
Gonna let Ricky get back to his guys working on this car, trying to get it back out onto the racetrack, guys.
All right, Shannon, thanks. A little more strategy here. Here's Patrick Carpentier giving up 7th spot to come down the pit lane for some service under this extended yellow. As Booty Barker is crew chief saying we're going to pack it full, Vince.
Well, with Patrick Carpentier, they believe that at this point they are within that window from a fuel perspective. Originally, they would have liked to have stayed out a little bit later, but conversations with the crew chief, they've decided now's the time. Let's go ahead and do it. Carpentier has finished twice second place in this race. Told me before the race today they felt like they had one that could contend again, so we'll keep an eye on the 00 of Patrick Carpentier.
So Carpentier rejoining the chase as we get set to go back racing in Montreal. Little sun and fun on a warm afternoon in Montreal. That complex, part of the Notre Dame Island, originally built and used for the 1967 World's Fair. There's what's left of the biosphere that was part of the exposition in '67. They tore down a lot of the '67 World's Fair buildings to build facilities for the 1976 Olympics on this island. And then from 1978 on, this racetrack has been part of the city park, Parc Jean Drapeau, that the racetrack is operated on twice a year. Surfers around the outside, the St. Lawrence Seaway on one side with the ships going up and down the river, the surfers and the swimmers and all around. I mean, there's all kind of stuff happening around here today.
You know, they built that island out of the material they dug the tunnels with. They brought it out here and put it all in here, made this island, and they've done a nice job with it.
And that building on the right with the crane surrounding it, that's a casino. That's part of the island complex as well. A little bit of everything here at Notre Dame. A little bit of everything on the race today in the first 15 laps. 3 cautions already for 9 of those 15 laps, and drivers abusing some equipment in this race. Fenders and bumpers and so on. Looks like we're going to have some late pit stops under this yellow. Boris Said from 3rd, Paul Menard from 4th break off and come down the pit lane. Any other takers?
Looks like Kligerman might go.
All right, meantime, Boris in that 09 car going to give up the number 3 position for some gasoline here as the field completes the 16th lap.
Alan, I tell you, in my opinion, everybody that's staying on the racetrack right now is making a mistake. I like what's going on right now. I believe that, take a look at Joey Logano's car a little while ago. He's in pretty good shape right now. Mike, looks like Boris has got a good stop getting ready to happen here, too.
Yeah, Boris Said on pit road as well. Many people trying to top off right now. Said will take right side tires, pack the car full of fuel as the team now swings around to the left side. A 4-tire change for Boris Said as he completes a stop now. Vince?
The 98 of Paul Menard ran here last year, finished 15th in his only previous run here. Says the car's pretty good. They just put 4 fresh Goodyears on it, packed it full of fuel. Alan?
Interesting, Vince, also that Carl Edwards and Patrick Carpentier have come in to top off the fuel, as well as Joey Logano again. Vince?
That's exactly right, and there's the 0-0 of Carpentier. You made the mention of Carl Edwards. He just pulled off pit lane. They also gave a little fender pull there you saw from the right side of Carpentier's car. They just wanted to double check and make sure they weren't having any rub.
Waiting for the end of the field to clear.
What I was saying a little while ago, you see the 98 Menard and Borisset, all these guys are set to go now. Everybody that's going to pit has got to come in behind them. So I really don't understand why they're still staying on the racetrack when this pit stop here will put them in this window.
Well, the answer has got to be they don't think they're in their window to make the race on one more stop, right?
That's got to be the only thing. Yeah. They're just counting on. Really, this next stop is not the most critical. It's actually that last pit stop when you make that, and this one kind of sets you up for it.
All right, we've talked a lot about brakes being critical to a driver's success today. There's another piece on the race car that a driver has to be sure and not abuse if he wants to take the trophy home for Montreal. For more on that, back to the Craftsman Tech Garage and Tim Brewer. Tim?
One of the most important aspects of road racing is the transmission. On an oval, we utilize first, second, third gear to get off pit road. But once we put it in high gear, we never shift it again during that lap. But road racing, you use a transmission for acceleration off the corner, going through the gears. But what's more important, you use it for slowing the car down, downshifting. You generate so much heat in the transmission, we have to put a cooler on it, using a pump to run it through the cooler just to cool the fluid. But what you have to do when you're shifting, make sure that you're precise, getting it into gear, not grabbing the gears, banging the gears, because if you do, you're going to tear the transmission up. You take care of this, you'll have a good finish at a road race.
Yeah, Tim, you take care of it, it'll take care of you.
Yeah, they're wearing second gear out right now, riding around behind this caution car.
All right, so some of the strategy beginning to play out here. We have not seen the leaders, Ambrose and Villeneuve, pit under the yellow or green, for that matter, yet in the race. Vince?
Well, Marcus Ambrose and his crew chief, Frankie Kerr, have had the conversation about whether they should come like everybody else has. And Marcus said, are we in our window? And Frank said, no, we've got another 3 to 4 laps. And Marcus said, there's no sense coming if we're not in our window. So these guys have decided to stick with their strategy that they had coming into this race, while some of the others have been a little bit more flexible and changed in midstream. But Frank Kerr just a moment ago said, we've still got 3 or 4 to go to get to where we want to be.
Well, there's a lot of teams that have to gamble to try to beat Marcus Ambrose and Villeneuve, these real good road racers. But Ambrose, on the other hand, he doesn't need to gamble. He's got a good car. He can pass cars if he needs to. What he doesn't want to do is beat himself, or beat the team beat themselves by trying to gamble too much on fuel.
Well, we've all got different opinions. There's no doubt about that, when these guys should pit or not. And I really respect these crew chiefs, but we're having so many cautions at the moment right now. I think I would go ahead and take the gamble and take a look at it, because track position's everything in the world. And I will say, a lot of the cautions we've had during this race have been in the back of the pack. So being in the back of the pack, trying to muscle your way back up to the front is a bad thing also.
And we'll see. Remember that accordion down in turn 1 we've seen on the first couple of restarts here. Let me just mention now that of the people who've pitted, first of all, the top 14 in the race have not stopped. Of the guys who have been front runners who pitted, you've got Paul Menard in 29th place. Boris said 30th. Carl Edwards 31st. Carpentier is 33rd. And Joey Logano is 35th at this point. Robbie Gordon is up to 20th by some of the strategy and repairs they've been forced to pit for in the opening 16 laps of this race.
Well, that's because we had a handful of cars that pitted just on that last lap. He gained a bunch of spots right there.
Yep. Well, we're going to see how it all plays out here as Jason Ratcliffe and Drew Blickensderfer and all the other crew chiefs try to figure the constantly moving target. That's where ulcers come from, right?
That's exactly right. I see Parker Kligerman lined up there. He's actually lined up in 10th spot. He did not pit that last time, even though it looked like he was going to. He took the track position instead.
Yeah, it looked like he was coming right down pit road. Must have darted back on at the last minute, and our cameras didn't catch him, or I didn't catch him.
Fourth chance for Jack Villeneuve to try and get or stay with Marcus Ambrose on the restart. The cones right of your screen. That's the restart zone. Those 2 orange lines on the wall.
Yeah, Villeneuve did a better job that time. Looks like he's even got just a little bit of position on Ambrose.
Listen to the fans.
Right here is where you get in trouble. He just ran him out of room right there. Villeneuve just tried to run Ambrose in the grass. Didn't work out.
Well, you can see I think they really squished up the fenders in front of Marcus Ambrose, left side. Take a look at this, guys. A lot of damage by that big muscle move he made on the Exeter turn 2.
Well, Villeneuve tried to squeeze him down off the racetrack. Marcus Ambrose said, no, I'm not having any of that.
Yeah, I don't know if that paid off good for him or not. He come out on the losing side. He's got the lead.
Well, he kind of got forced into it.
Right front damage on Marcus's car. Left side damage is on his car.
Look, you talk about how that speedy dry. You can see how loose that 32 was right there.
Now, is that fender on the left front of that 47 going to be enough of a problem on that tire?
I don't see it smoking like we saw.
Oh,
see, boy, Ambrose working that wheel.
Yeah.
And that track is really slick right now. A lot of these guys actually need to run off of line, much like you do in the rain, to stay out of that oil dry to get the grip you need right now.
So through the strategy, through the restarts, all the rest, Pappas up to 3rd, Leffler 4th, Coleman 5th, Fellows 6th, Steve Wallace to 7th, Keselowski is 8th.
Every time on the Exeter turn 2, guys, we have seen body contact, body damage. It's a good shot of Marcus Ambrose's left front. Look how much damage is on that car right now.
Yeah, and that's what I'm curious about is, A, Rusty, is that going to get into the tire at all? But B, is it going to affect the handling of the car enough to maybe even that 32 up with it?
Well, it will affect the handling somewhat, but this is kind of a slow course in these corners. It's not going to hurt him much in those slow corners because aerodynamics are not nearly as important there.
You've got an incredible driver there, Marcus Ambrose, also to kind of make up a little bit of the loss of the aerodynamics. His driving technique is just so good. He can make up some ground, but still, you don't want that damage that early.
Looked like Villeneuve was just trying to force something there on that restart. You know, he kind of had position, a little bit of position, tried to take advantage of it, and Ambrose says, no way.
Ambrose wasn't hearing it, was he? Yeah. Let's go on board the 32.
This is his restart now. $82 cards.
That's Tommy Dreese turned around.
No full course yellow. The track is still green.
Yeah, Tommy did a great job, too. He picked up 17 positions.
Gave him away right there,
Gave every one of them away. You're right, Andy. That's a sick feeling.
Looks like he's going to be able to get away, and we will stay under the green flag.
These guys just need to log laps right now. That's...
Oh, look at that.
In the world.
Ron Fellows, Steve Wallace come into the hairpin.
And you can see the teammates of Kligerman and Keselowski racing, and there goes Fellows back out on the track behind them.
That was for 6th position.
That happened way before the entry of the hairpin.
They start that braking zone pretty far back, though, because that's a really slow corner.
Well, I'll tell you what I saw. Watch Fellows initially start down driver's left and then cross back over.
Yep.
See, I think he thought Steve was going to protect the inside of the track coming to that corner. And then when Steve moved outside to take the normal line, Fellows tried to cross over behind him and didn't have enough room.
Just misjudged it.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Well, Steve was lucky not to destroy his car right there.
Well, he did a good job holding on to that thing right now.
You could see that guardrail.
Oh, man, when you get turned the wrong way, he's coming in to make his pit stop. This is probably a good thing. If he get in and out without losing a lap, he can make this pit stop and get it out of the way.
Yeah, it takes a long time to get around this track. And it's like you said, Andy, this could be not a real bad deal if he can get down under green and not lose a lap by making this stop.
I think he'll be okay. It's coming down to you, Vince.
Well, they first want to take a good look at the damage on the car. Crew Chief Scott McDougall has called out for the fact that they're just going to take the 4 tires and fuel and then also give inspection. And as I look on the left side of the car, I don't see any damage whatsoever. They're not working, did not work on the right side either. So a little bit of damage there on the back side, but looked pretty good, really, all things considered, for the 66 of Stephen Wallace.
Got some nose damage on that 88 car for Fellows, and they're still locked up in a tight fight for a spot. J.R. Fitzpatrick in the 7, Kligerman in the 26, Trevor Bayne in the 99. This is all going on for 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Now, we saw Michael Annett off the pace a minute ago. He spun around a second ago. That
just got behind on the steering.
Is turn 6 and 7, and it.
Oh, he made contact.
That's some damage there.
Didn't work out well for him there. Michael Annett is back and rolling, but he has lost a lot of ground on the racetrack. He's back in 31st spot. So now, when are we going to see some of these other guys, like Ambrose, Villeneuve, Pappas, Leffler, peel off in pit?
I predict next lap you're going to start seeing some of the leaders come down under green, making these stops.
Andy, I agree with you. I think it'd be smart to get on down under green, just like you said, because you don't want to pit under caution and have to line up behind these guys. Go ahead and get this thing on pit road right now. Get back out.
Yeah, we got a big-time smoker. It's like Stephen Wallace is smoking, big time.
Yeah, he turned one
related to that spin or not.
Turn one of these things around backwards. It's generally not good for it, right?
Makes you wonder if it lost an engine or something like that because of all this, because of the spin.
You can see all the smoke right there. Could be losing some oil. You saw Villeneuve. Yeah, the caution's out.
Full course yellow.
Now we will see some pit stops.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that trail behind the car is not a good one.
Yeah, oh, man. Oh, my goodness. There's a ton of oil coming out of that thing.
Oh.
Well, they could have made, they could have made a pit stop last lap, and anybody that would have done that would have gotten a good break right here. But now, since the caution has come out right here in the window, you'll probably see all the leaders come under caution.
Well, that's tough luck there for Steve Wallace, who is
closed. Stay out if the pits are closed. They should be closed.
obviously not happy with Ron Fellows coming past him.
I think Steven was waving at Ron Fellows when he went by.
Pit this time. Pit this time. 4 tires, guys.
All right, that is the 32's radio. The pace car has picked up the field. And
here they come.
Here they come.
You're going to see how some of the strategy works out. You saw Carl Edwards and a lot of those cars pit earlier. They're going to stay out here, take the track position.
Probably take the lead. That was a good call, staying out. Like, see Brendan gone. He made a stop. He's out also. He'll be staying on the track.
And no matter how fast a pit stop you make under caution, you have to line up behind the cars that stay on the track. Coming to you, Shannon.
Yeah, Brad Coleman pulls his car in, you guys. They're going to take 4 tires. Doesn't look like any adjustments, but they are going to remove a little bit of tape from the front of that nose from the grill, because it is getting a little hot with the water temperature. Mike.
Jacques Villeneuve in as well. No adjustments here, just 4 tires and fuel. Villeneuve very happy with his race car, Vince.
Well, the 47 of Marcus Ambrose is in. There is a little bit of damage on that left front fender from the contract from Villeneuve, but 4 tires and fuel, just a little bit of tug on that left front.
Our Nationwide Insurance race off pit road. It'll be Ambrose holding off the 32 team.
Kozlowski gains a couple.
To be the first off of pit lane, question becomes, where is he going to line up for the restart?
Yeah, that's going to be the question. How many cars stayed out here? We'll set it here when they all get strung back out after they go on the track.
Well, Sean Pete, the Jackman for the 32 Canadian native, is our over-the-wall reporter. He was just in action.
Come on, boys, nice and easy.
That was a good job right there. That's a tough job, Jackman.
Absolutely. And a hot day, but a great job for Sean Pete as he tries to help his fellow native of Canada, Jack Villeneuve, score a win in Montreal. Villeneuve's going to be back around 19th in line for the restart. Back in Montreal on a beautiful summer afternoon. Reminding you before we go back green that Tuesday night NASCAR Now is back late night, 1 a.m. Eastern time, getting you ready for all the action of the week in NASCAR, including Friday night's Nationwide Series race on the Friday night. I've been used to Friday, Saturday thing here. Saturday night's Nationwide Series race in Atlanta. I'll be there a day early if I show up then. 6:30 Eastern on ESPN2. It's Labor Day weekend, so the NHRA Series is going to run the traditional U.S. Nationals, the Mac Tools U.S. Nationals at Indianapolis Columbus Raceway Park. Qualifying next Sunday, 10 a.m. and 5 Eastern. Finals on Monday, Labor Day, September 9th, 1 Eastern on ESPN2. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series also in action next weekend at Atlanta. That is a Sunday night race. Our coverage presented by Pennzoil at 7:30 Eastern Time. We start with NASCAR Countdown at 7 Eastern. I will be there on the correct days. Next weekend in Atlanta.
This car is Atlanta. Under the lights, are going to be fast down there. A lot of grip at that place.
Going to be a lot of fun.
200 miles an hour, getting it.
Now, what we have are basically 3 separate strategy schedules going on here at Montreal. Robbie Gordon is the new leader of the race. He did not pit under this yellow flag. Robbie has pitted 7 times in the race already. First for strategy, then for some crash repairs. A little farther back, you'll find Paul Menard and Carl Edwards. They're running in 7th and 8th. Remember, they pitted on the last caution flag back at lap number 12 and took fuel. Farther back, you'll find the guys that have led the whole race so far and just stopped under this yellow. Marcus Ambrose in the 47, Jack Villeneuve in the 32. They are 14th and 15th for the restart strategy playing out.
On those restarts, if you want, after it's green, if you can see them clear, jump in there. Don't be afraid to jump in there, okay?
Why don't you let me get turn 1 then, Al? It's probably from where you are. You can't see it. The 32 was inside pretty good.
That's fine. If you want to take it, that's okay by me.
I'll get you into 1, then it'll be all you.
Well, there you go. And one of the things that Marcus Ambrose and his crew chief Frank Kerr were discussing, not just the lane to choose on these restarts, but also the fact that if they could get a longer green flag run, they feel like they're definitely fast enough to stretch things out a bit, but they just haven't been able to get enough green flag activity. So right now, that's been the biggest issue for Frank Kerr and Marcus Ambrose, but they definitely like the car that they have underneath Marcus here today.
All right, Vince, thanks. So we'll see what happens now with these guys back in traffic. Here's that last restart where the 47 car got the damage on the left front with the 32 of Villeneuve as they went down into turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's almost like Ambrose was crowding Villeneuve just a little bit right there on the straightaway. And the roles are reversed once they get into the corner. It's like Villeneuve kind of forces Ambrose off the track, and Ambrose says, no way, buddy.
You can see Villeneuve just now. He wanted that shot that time. He's tried it so many times. And I really thought that maybe Marcus would have backed out of the throttle a little bit. Let him have that lane.
Well, you're getting ready to see the reality of their strategy. You know, they felt like they didn't have enough fuel mileage to go pitted earlier. You're going to see these cars that did roll the dice and start up front. It's going to be touchy with these cars starting as far back as they are.
Yeah. I got a feeling they're going to look like bulldozers coming to the field.
You can't bulldoze too hard because it's got those guardrails on both sides of the track here, Rusty.
Well, I thought so too, but
he's worn sidewalls out on those too.
Yeah, look at it all marred up. Mike, those tires look like they've been through a lot of work.
Yeah, if the audience out there wants to know exactly how close those 2 cars got, well, there's a little bit of paint transfer on these Goodyear Eagles.
There's a lot of paint transfer on those Eagles, guys. You see the guys checking the tread depth, how much rubber is left on those tires? Not a lot of rubber left on the sidewalls of those tires, though.
Cleanup continues. We'll take a break, come back for the restart. Robbie Gordon is the new leader at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. Marcus Ambrose in search of his first career NASCAR win. Robbie Gordon behind him. Big pile up down in turn 2.
Robbie Gordon to the inside for the lead.
Ambrose goes back on him. Who is leading the race? When did the caution come out? Where are they going to put Robbie Gordon?
We need to get behind the 30. Here we're going to get black flag. Get black flag me after the race. I'm staying here.
They are putting the black flag up for Robbie Gordon. And indeed, Gordon will hit Ambrose.
If you want to know my opinion, I won the race.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
We'll appeal it. We won this race.
Kevin Harvick wins here in Montreal.
What a bizarre finish. Now, that was the first NASCAR Nationwide Series race in Montreal. Robbie Gordon and Ambrose tangling. Robbie getting into a dispute with NASCAR officials over where he should resume his place in line. And the end result was Robbie Gordon feels like he won the race. Marcus Ambrose said he wasn't mad. He was just disappointed. Well, Robbie Gordon came back here saying only one thing mattered, to get the trophy and win. Looking for revenge. He's the leader now. Marcus Ambrose came back here saying only one thing mattered, to take the trophy and win. He's led most of the race so far, but right now he's back in 14th place. And Jack Villeneuve, the hometown driver, the man whose family name is on the racetrack, has been right with Ambrose every step of the race so far, and he's with him right now through strategy, back in 15th spot through what has been a very caution-filled race in its early going. Latest driver out of the race is Steve Wallace, Vince.
Well, it's unfortunate for Steven, too, and they had a pretty good race car. Got some contact with Ron Fellows. Car spun backwards, motor went. But what led to the contact with Fellows?
I don't know what happened. You know, Ron Fellows was supposed to be this, world-renowned road racer, and he wasn't running real good today. He was hitting all the curbs and stuff, and was a lot slower than I was, so I passed him, and I don't know. He just went flying out on the hairpin, and he turned me around backwards, and as a result of that, it spun the rear tires backwards and blew the bottom end of my motor. But I hate it for all these 5-hour guys. We've had a really, really good season, and these past 4 weeks have just been the worst weeks of my life. We've had really good race cars. Can't thank 5-Hour Energy enough, Risa, and all the people there. And promise we'll get this thing turned around, man. We had a really, really good car today, and we were in the top 10. And then I think the replay says it all. Just got turned around. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, disappointing end of the day for Stephen Wallace. Alan.
All right, Vince, thanks. Wallace is out of the race, along with Brian Scott, Brett Rowe, Jeff Green, Justin Marks. They're all out of the race at this point as we get set for the restart. Alex Kennedy got the free pass on this last caution, although he's still 11 laps down in 37th position. Robbie Gordon is chosen driver's right. As we go back into turn one, the car inside of him is Victor Gonzalez Jr.
But Gonzalez is going to get the lead.
Same corner, just a different cast of characters.
Watch back on the brake. Villeneuve got clear of Ambrose so far. Ambrose is going 3 wide, top of the screen.
In the dirt.
Oh, look out!
What a save.
It's an aggressive move that early. I mean, this guy wants to win this thing bad. Ambrose does.
Man, I thought it was all over right there for him.
Big moment there. Not just the save, but the 32 getting by the 47 in traffic on the restart.
Started to say a different cast of characters. And actually, that cast of characters did a better job getting through 1 and 2 than the other guys did. No body contact there.
Robbie Gordon has reclaimed the lead from Gonzalez. Third place, Boris Said, 09. 62, Brendan Gaughan. 98, Paul Menard. And Carl Edwards in the 60.
That's some pretty good road racers right there. Doing a good job right now, but look at all that oil dry, Andy. That's what would really bother me.
So far, so good, though. I mean, look at Brendan Gaughan gets in too hot. Boris said does a good job to avoid that.
Look at Ambrose trying to find a way through the traffic to get back around that 32. See him try and look for the crossover move, and there was another car stuffed up to his inside.
I'm trying to figure out if that was a crossover move or this so loose they couldn't handle it. It looked like a crossover, but these guys are slipping and sliding.
Look at Edwards making a big move here.
Track is really dirty out there.
Gonzalez, though, late breaking there to hang on to that spot. Is that Gonzalez or Boris? They're both black cars, first number 09. That's Gonzalez.
Like Gonzalez.
Boris has gotten through to second. Here comes Carl Edwards on the 05 for third. And he'll get through there as they cross the start-finish line and head back to 1 and 2. A little wide for Carl.
Hey, Carl's doing a good job in that race strategy he did early, pitting on laps, what was it, 16, I believe. That's what got him this track position. He can probably make it on fuel in that next stop. Look at Ambrose on the inside.
Yeah, he makes the move on Colin Brown.
Yeah, you don't think Ambrose is going to be a little aggressive here, huh? Trying to get up through the traffic.
Villeneuve's doing it too.
Oh, contact there. Carpentier and 00 and Gonzalez in the 05 right in front of the two dominant drivers. Ambrose looking for a way through in the traffic jam.
Boy, he knows he's got to get around that 32.
He's got position on him right here. What's going to happen?
Oh, locking up those brakes, and he got through.
Whew, what a move.
You see all the smoke coming off the right front of Marcus's tire. It's like you said, and he all locked up, sliding down in there.
All right. Boris Said trying to hold off Carl Edwards for a second. Farther back. People trying to move through that 05 car of Gonzalez as he's getting shuffled back in line. And some of the guys who made their pit stops, like our in-race reporter there, Max Pappas in the 33, trying to get up through the traffic. Edwards for second place on Boris Said.
Outbreaks Boris Said getting in the corner. That's hard to do.
And Ambrose smoking that right front again, under braking down into the final corner.
These guys get settled in just a little bit. I can't wait to see these lap times that they're knocking out here. Robbie Gordon's got a good car, and so does Edwards, Gone, Said, all of them. But we haven't had enough laps to really tell who is the fastest car out here at this moment. Marcus has had the track position, which always gets you in the clean air, makes the car run faster, but now he's back in the pack. We just don't know right now who's the fastest out here.
How about it, Vince?
Yeah, Marcus Ambrose just came on radio and said, I've got a right front tire rub under heavy braking, so keep an eye on that with the 47. The car's fast, but it's not going to do him any good if that right front continues to rub.
Well, if that's where that smoke is coming from a rub, I would feel better about that than actually sliding it and putting a flat place on the tire. So might not be a bad thing. And if it's rubbing somewhat under heavy braking, it's usually at the top of the tire where it'll clearance itself.
Now, come on, I know you. You've told me before, Andy, you don't like any rubs.
Well, I don't like them, but if I've got one, I'd rather have it right on the top of the tire. So that's where the thick part of the tire is.
So Ambrose through Carpentier to pick up the 6th position. Now the two Quebec natives, Carpentier and Villeneuve, left to try and fight that spot out and stay in contact with that 47 car, who is one determined individual to get back to the front of this thing and not let the strategy take away his track position.
He's using a lot of car to do it, though. You can see he's got all the fenders banged in. He's got tires rubbing, smoking, sliding.
How about Boris Said having the 09 car up in 3rd place? This team, fair to say, not one of the high-funded teams in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, but boy, he's given it a good ride.
But you know what? I almost expect that out of Boris. He's just so good on these road courses. In all the interviews he's done this weekend, he's been talking about his new sponsor, Performance Fiction Brakes. He's talked about them a lot, and boy, you and I have talked about the brakes here, so he's doing pretty good with them. Vince?
Well, it's interesting that the 60 of Carl Edwards passed the 09 of Boris Said there because of that braking, as you guys talked about, because Carl Edwards learned how to road course race with Boris Said. Edwards sat in the passenger seat of a 2-seater, and Boris Said taught him how to work the feet, where to brake, where to turn, and then Carl would get in the driver's seat, and Boris would get in the passenger seat, and they'd go through it again and again, and Boris would correct him when he made a mistake, tell him when he did a good thing. He said, if it weren't for Boris Said, there's no way I'd be anywhere near the kind of road racer I am. So it's interesting to see those two, and eventually Edwards get the better of Boris on that sequence. Mike Mazzaro?
And you could see that relationship yesterday after qualifying, Vince. One of the first people that Carl Edwards sought out at the end of that session was Boris, just to thank him for everything he's done for him. Well, I also spoke with Boris this morning, and as you might imagine, if anybody who knows Boris, well, he was lounging in the lounge and very laid back, yet extremely confident. We mentioned how much of a shoestring budget this team's running on. Still, their confidence sky high. I asked him specifically if he thought he had anything for Ambrose and Villeneuve today. He said absolutely.
Well, we'll see. He's running 3rd and ahead of both those drivers for now. Up front, Robbie Gordon trying to hold off Carl Edwards. Final corners, start-finish line, completing lap 28 of 74.
Tell you what, Robbie's doing a good job, Andy, with that right rear quarter panel almost tore off his car. That thing's pretty wounded. He's still leading this race.
Yeah, if you remember back when he got in this crash, he got hammered from behind by Ricky Stenhouse.
Marcus Ambrose through to 4th place, past Paul Menard.
Well, look at Villeneuve, man. He's getting aggressive. Gets by Brendan Gaughan.
Yep, Carpentier fading back behind Villeneuve and Brendan Gaughan. Carpentier back to 8th position.
So watching the lap times out there, Robbie Gordon, Carl Edwards, very close to the same speed. But Villeneuve every now and then lays out a real fast lap. Just got to put them all together.
This is for 9th position. Max Pappas has just gotten around Colin Brown. Pappas 33, Brown 16. There's Jason Leffler and the championship leader Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano back in this group. Logano up to 13th after taking some damage in a restart incident earlier in the race back at lap number 10.
Tell you what, just about every single one of these cars have got some type of damage on them. See the left front of Max Pappas's car, a little damage there. Oh, the lead.
Inside. At the hairpin, new leader Carl Edwards. Well, it said earlier today he's no slouch on these road courses. Won 2 of the last 3.
I think that's an understatement. I think he's just one of the best. He's learned how to race with these guys and beat them. I mean, just you got to think Boris Said's got to be rethinking how he taught him how to do this. He watches him drive away.
It's a replay coming down to turn 10.
Nice move. It's hard to make that work, interesting.
Yeah, it is. It is very hard, but it's a pretty good job out of Robbie Gordon not trying to cut him off and guard that position, because he knows right now that Carl Edwards has caught him. He's got the fastest car. Robbie just needs to log laps right now. He's come from the back to the front. He's done a good job.
So Carl Edwards is the new leader of the NAPA 200 at Montreal. 29 of 74 laps complete. Coverage of Major League Baseball continues on ESPN tonight and tomorrow night. Huge American League East game tonight as the Red Sox take on Tampa Bay down in Tampa. Sox 5.5 games behind the Rays and Yanks in the American League East and wild card races. Then on Monday Night Baseball, the National League East at 7 Eastern, David Wright and the Mets against Jason Hayward and the Braves. Big games with playoff implications in both games, available on ESPN3.com. Brad Coleman is just leaving pit road after repairs to the 18 car from one of the most bizarre things we've probably seen in a little while at a road course.
It's very bizarre. Watch this. He tries to overtake the 16 at Colin Braun that gets a rear bumper bar jammed in his brake rotor and his left front tire, locks it up.
That's the first time I've ever seen that.
Looks like he's got a spear stuck in that thing. And now look at this. Left front tire completely locked up because of the bar.
Has to drag the thing all the way back to pit road.
Unbelievable.
Just when you thought you'd seen it all.
So Coleman is back on track and is in 32nd position, a lap down after those repairs. Carl Edwards, the race leader, has moved out to a 2nd and 4/10 gap right there on Robbie Gordon, but look who's beginning to track him down.
Hello, he's made up about a second in the last 2 laps on these cars. On Carl Edwards' lead, he was actually 4.4 behind 2 laps ago.
Behind them for 4th place, the 32 of Villeneuve, looking to get by Boris Said to pick up that spot and stay in contact with Ambrose. So what does a tire look like after it's been dragged all the way back to pit road?
Like that. Oh, my. Oh, there goes Villeneuve. You know, that's too bad right there, because Boris was giving him that spot. He actually moved over to let him have it. Villeneuve just got in too hot.
A turn 10 just really sucks you down in there. We've seen more body contact today, internet hairpin, which is turn 10, and almost more than any other spot on the racetrack today, except maybe turn 2, where we keep seeing them stack up.
So Villeneuve loses a little ground. Meanwhile, Ambrose has tracked down Robbie Gordon for 2nd spot. Where does he make the move? And how long till he gets by and goes after Carl Edwards?
He made up 3/4 of a second on Carl Edwards that lap while he's chasing down Robbie Gordon.
He's had the fastest 2 laps the last time by. About 0.3 of a second faster than anybody on the track. That's another thing we expect out of Marcus Ambrose, though. He's doing that with a car that's pretty beat up, though.
Edwards around
Look
some
at
lap
Ambrose.
traffic, and here's the move.
Man, I'm telling you, that guy's incredible.
You know, man, he just knows what he wants in his car. He knows what he needs to do to make that thing handle where it needs a handle for him. I've seen him do this in different types of cars, and cars in our eyes that really aren't great cars sometimes, but he gets it done.
Wondering if the 32 maybe flat spotted those tires in this little moment down in turn 10.
Saw Boris. He kind of moved over to give him this lane. Looks like he just wheel hopped it or locked the rear wheels up just a little bit getting in the corner. I think he'll be all right. I don't think he flat spotted any tires there because they were all rolling.
And this is kind of the part of the race where you would expect some rear wheel hop when these guys are driving them hard, trying to overtake each other under braking. If you don't get that technique right, they get into that wheel hop. We hear that a lot in these road courses.
See the leaders overtaking Mike Bliss in that 40 car. He was on pit road for a stop not that long ago. So a little different strategy there for Bliss has set him back in the pack. As Ambrose drives away from Robbie Gordon in the 07 and tries to close in on Carl Edwards for the lead. He's 2 seconds behind him right now and closing. And closing fast.
Yeah, he's coming quick.
Try again.
I think Ambrose is more running away from Villeneuve than he is trying to catch Carl Edwards, because he's catching Edwards really quick. I think he's really worried about this 32 car.
If you're the 32, if you're Trent Owens, his crew chief, now you got to go up, Boris, up over the curbs, squealing tires, got away with it. Now you got to be thinking about strategy and what you might do to get ahead of that 47 again, because obviously he's got a faster car for the moment.
Oh, you're want to make that last pit. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Racing for 5th.
Well, I'll say Boris didn't deserve that.
4th and 5th, check that. Boris goes around. Villeneuve continues on.
Andy, one thing I noticed about that crash right there, that looks like Villeneuve was all over the brakes, and that car wouldn't stop for him.
That's been an issue for this 32 team.
See the rear wheels locking up?
The rear wheels are starting to lock up.
He has lost his front brakes. He hasn't lost them, but they're not efficient any longer. One more replay here.
It's like he's on the brakes pretty hard, but just can't get it slowed up.
Look at the tire marks, the wheel hopping.
Yep.
See that?
Exactly right. That's what happened. He wheel hopped into the back of Boris, spun Boris. Let's watch it one more time.
Watch
guys.
the skid marks coming out from behind the car.
You see the dashed lines there. Well, what's happening is the front brakes are giving up, and then what happens is then the rear brakes kind of take over and start causing these kind of problems. Boy, you can see the car shaking there.
And what do you do but grab a gear and go?
That's all you can do.
He's just got to figure out how to drive the cars a little bit more conservative and work on those brakes more. These other guys aren't having that problem.
Up front, Ambrose closing, stalking Carl Edwards for the #1 spot.
Carl's saying, you got to be kidding me. Here comes this guy again. Can never shake Ambrose.
Uh-oh, J.R. Fitzpatrick. Little spin around. Last corner, we stay green. Probably again another case of wheel hop. Let's see for sure.
Oh, he kind of got off the racetrack there, trying to get the angle, getting in the corner, and he got just a little too much angle.
Right in front of Ron Fellows, too. He just kind of stalked Fellows right through the entry at 13 and exit to turn 14 there. Vince, what about that leader's looking pretty good to me.
As Carl Edwards tries to stay out in front of Marcus Ambrose, and Ambrose is stalking Edwards, talking with his spotters and crew chief about where Ambrose is better on the track and where Carl is better, so he can make sure that he's got his guard up for a potential move. As you see Ambrose taking a look around the outside as they go through the hairpin, but Edwards staying out front. You definitely get the feeling that Ambrose is going to be making his move. He wants to get out front, and one of the keys with Ambrose throughout the course of the weekend, guys, we've talked so much about brakes. They were not happy with their brake package until just before that final practice ended yesterday. They'd gone through 3 different brake packages before they found the one that they thought would work here today. But Marcus said before the race, I think we've got it, and it's going to be the big payoff if we've indeed found the right brake package. Looks like he's pretty good right now as he chases Edwards.
Well, at this point, he's running Edwards down by 4.5 seconds. So, Russ, you got to think he might just be kind of biding his time to take this lead. At least, you know, he slowed up about a second once he caught Edwards.
I wondered what Edwards was waving at down that straightaway from turn 10 back. Remember, he had his hand out the window and he was waving. I thought maybe he was signaling Ambrose that, yeah, okay, you know, but he didn't.
Oh man, Edwards is up on that wheel.
I tell you who's up in the front of his couch is old Brad Doherty back at home right now watching this.
Yeah, you can see right there, just waving
your
by.
pass.
You saw Carl waving by.
See, that's what I wasn't sure if that was happening on the last straightaway, but then the pass didn't happen.
Oh, when you got somebody chewing on your rear bumper like we saw Ambrose, it's just like when Villeneuve got in the back of Boris said, you don't want to take a chance on his brakes failing behind you, knocking you out of the race.
Good opportunity for Carl Edwards actually to see what Marcus is doing, how he's driving these corners.
He better look quick.
Yeah, he better look quick. Look how much he's pulled out on him already.
Well, we have seen this movie before with Marcus Ambrose leading this Montreal race, heading into its closing laps. It has not worked out for him every time, including last year when he led all but the final corner. And he got that last turn wrong, and Edwards slipped by him and scored the win. Ambrose back out in front, seeking redemption at Montreal, the race that has eluded him for 3 consecutive years. He has certainly been the dominant driver today, leading 20 of 39 laps, and he's back out in front once more, hoping to get that trophy back from Carl. halfway in today's NAPA 200 in Montreal. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. And we have had some interesting developments in the last moment or so. First, Joey Logano, Max Papis racing for 7th position into turn 10 a lap ago.
Brakes are becoming a big issue right here. You see, Logano couldn't get his car stopped behind Paul Menard. Keeps trying to get it stopped and gets into Max Papis.
Yeah, you saw Logano just wheel hop for a long time and just took them both out.
It's the longest green flag run we've had, 14 laps. Brakes are starting to overheat, so you just can't get it stopped.
Papis has resumed in 12th spot. Logano has resumed in 10th. Now, 88-26. Ron Fellows, Parker Kligerman.
Boy, good job out of Trevor Bayne. Just barely missed that. You see a lot of damage on the left front of Ron Fellows' car and damage on the right front of Parker Kligerman's car.
Now, Marcus Ambrose is back out in front, but on his radio a minute ago came this.
Okay, all my track and everything's going out. No fan. Everything's going.
Well, there you have it. Now, is that a gauge issue or is that a power issue? They're concerned that the battery has gone, and you can see the crew is ready. They've brought a spare battery out. They placed it on the wall. Crew Chief Frank Kerr communicating with Marcus about how the car is reacting and handling in regards to the power, whether or not they come in to put that battery and replace it. Boy, Ambrose has had so many dominant runs here, 3 dominant runs in the past, has yet to get the victory. Is this going to keep him from getting it again today? We're about to find out, I think.
Well, most of the time, that's an alternator issue, probably a wire or something like that. We've seen that happen many, many times this year. That battery is just a place to store the energy, and so the only thing they can do if the alternator's not working is just put another battery in there that's charged up and see if it'll make it. But if he really doesn't have any volts left, he won't be running much longer.
Yeah, and one of the other things he's going to have to do, disagree with you if you need to in this one, he's going to have to turn his helmet coolers off, turn all his brake fans off.
Well, he said on that radio just a minute ago, Rusty, they've quit.
They've got to kill everything in order to keep this thing surviving. But I'm like Andy, if it's on 0, the motor shouldn't be running right now.
Yeah, he's a couple seconds off the pace now. He can't get by. Well, now he does get by Mike Wallace.
I saw that coming. He was getting a little frustrated there for about a half a lap. That started about a half a lap ago when Ambrose came up on Mike and tried to run underneath him and didn't get the room.
Well, we'll see now just how this car's running because you got Carl Edwards pushing him.
Whoa, look out. Look out. Wow.
That was close.
I tell you, the NASCAR boys have at it. These boys are using that up.
I want to point out that right now, Jacques Villeneuve is the fastest car on the racetrack while these cars are racing each other by quite a bit.
But he's in 4th place, and he's 7 seconds behind this. So a lot of things to factor in. Let's talk about the electrical thing for Ambrose for just a minute. If he's turned off all the brake fans, or they just quit working, which was my interpretation of the radio we heard, that's a problem.
Yes, I agree.
That's a problem. They got one more pit stop coming up. Everyone does. When is a question. And does Ambrose really finally get a break? Or, I mean, as much as these cars have been knocked around and bounced over these curbs, it wouldn't be a surprise, Andy, if a little wire fell off an alternator and caused them an electrical problem.
See the crew here trying to strategize on what they're going to do to try to fix this problem.
We'll keep an eye on it. Ambrose leading for now at Montreal. Just a second ago at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, the lead changed hands. Marcus Ambrose, remember, reporting the voltage problems on that 47 car, and on the long straightaway where power's at a premium, he loses the lead to Carl Edwards.
That's going to get worse, too, as this thing goes on. He'll be lucky to get in the pits and get this battery changed. Able to keep up with Carl right now, though. If he can go a few more laps, he'll be in the window for that last pit stop. Although they're going to have to spend a lot of time on pit road changing that battery.
And he mentioned, he said, while you're at it, repair this carburetor. But like you said earlier, while we were in break, the ignition's probably so weak it's missing.
Yeah, what's happening is when those volts go down, those plugs start to not fire right, and it makes him probably think he's got a carburetor issue.
There you go.
So Edwards out in front.
You see, Carl Edwards just drives away from him on this long straightaway.
And in the tight traffic parts of the course, Ambrose closes back up on him where his road racing prowess shows most. closing quickly. Go ahead, Rusty.
Yeah, Alan, you're talking about, we question why Marcus Ambrose didn't come down pit road to get this work done now. He's got to get in this pit window. And, Andy, I'm guessing with like 28 to go or 30 to go, he'll be hitting pit road.
Yeah, we've got one in right now, Robbie Gordon, but he's kind of forced in by his strategy.
First pit stop among what have been the leaders. Robbie Gordon stopping, 32 laps to go. Most figure that's outside of the fuel window, but if we get a lot of cautions at the end of the race like we had at the beginning of the race.
No, it'll be no problem. Mike?
And by my calculations, guy, this is the 7th time Robbie Gordon has been on pit road. Team quickly going to work. No adjustments to the chassis, just an air pressure adjustment to the 07 car. Work on the right side is completed as they swing around to the left side. A 4-tire change for Robbie Gordon as they pack it with fuel, and that's been the name of their game all afternoon long, playing that fuel strategy.
Yep, I agree, Mike. Pack it with fuel is the name of that game. So we'll see how that shakes out for Robbie Gordon and where he resumes in line on the racetrack, how far behind the leaders.
Yeah, it makes you feel good when I say pack it full of fuel. It only holds a certain amount.
Yeah.
You can't pack it. It's just going to hold what it'll hold. And all right, try to make it last.
We'll change the terminology of 20 years of racing. Don't leave any out.
I tell you, the guys I'm pretty impressed with is right there, that 32 car, Jacques Villeneuve.
He's made up 4 seconds on these 2 leaders in the last probably 3 laps.
And Patrick Carpentier, what about him? He's been running 4th.
32 has been impressive, but a minute ago, maybe those brakes still.
He goes in the
made up a lot of time, though.
Locks up those rear wheels all the time. Big indication that those front brakes are gone.
He's still able to make that car go around the track, though. He's still running the fastest lap times of anyone.
Well, I think after every time he's drove this 32 car, he's lost his front brakes. He's starting to figure out how to drive with rear brakes. Mike?
Well, guys, I've been paying real active attention to their radio, trying to hear whether or not there's been issues with the brakes, considering what he experienced the last 2 road course outings. He hasn't said a word, although it brings me back to a conversation I had with him this morning. We already documented that they've changed the brake system, so I asked him what can he do to conserve the brakes. He just looked at me and said, well, I can brake earlier. That means go slower. And for him, obviously, not an option.
No, definitely not an option.
Yeah, he's here to win in front of his hometown crowd. His lap times are pretty decent. Not great at the moment. They've been really fast. Let's watch the brakes here again.
Man, look at him hammer that brake pedal.
Pit stop for Brendan Gaughan with 31 laps to go. Shannon?
Brendan Gaughan, they came down pit road to fix a loose condition. He gives up 13th. A good little race for the 62 team. They were running as high as 3rd. You see those guys, they are down and away, and Brendan Gaughan is making his way back out to the racetrack. 3rd place finish at Road Atlanta earlier this season, and they're looking to finish that up here today.
I expect to see these leaders come any lap now.
Carl Edwards just had his hand out the window, but we've seen that several times today, so.
Yeah, he didn't come that lap.
No. Over the curb, Ambrose stays on track as well, as does Villeneuve, who's closing quickly on Ambrose for 2nd spot. 31 to go, pit stops upcoming. Back live, circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. Carl Edwards comes to pit road from the lead with 29 laps to go. Ambrose follows him down pit lane. Carpentier and Menard also in. Vince?
Well, Carl Edwards says the car's just a tick loose, but it's pretty good. They're just going to give him 4 tires and fuel and make sure that this is a great pit stop, as crew chief Drew Blickensderfer reminded his crew. Let's hit it right here. So Carl likes his car. They make the 4-tire change, and the 47 of Marcus Ambrose is coming as well. Ambrose has just hit his pit box. Remember, he's been having power problems. Carl Edwards goes by the 47. They're going to make the 4-tire change on the 47 of Marcus Ambrose and pull out those fenders as well. They were looking to replace that battery, as also haven't done it yet. They are repairing they are making that battery change now on the right inside. You see, as Ambrose had indicated, he had lost power in the car. They knew they were going to have to take this hit from a time perspective, and crew chief Frank Kerr had asked him if he could stay out a little bit longer, and Marcus said, absolutely not. I got to come this lap. They'd hoped to stay out a few more laps, not able to do it. So Ambrose comes in to make that change that's going to cost him dearly.
Losing time on pit lane. Can he stay on the lead lap? As Villeneuve comes around to the straightaway leading up to pit entry.
Come on, Gary.
Will the 32 stop this time? Yes. Leader Jacques Villeneuve comes to pit road.
You change that battery, it's not an easy thing. It looks like it's going to cost Ambrose a lap.
It is taking a long time. So, Mike, here is Villeneuve pitting from the lead.
And he's been silent and focused on the radio. Very happy with his race car as he rolls down pit road. Not expecting any major adjustments, just 4 tires and fuel on the 32 car. The team goes over the wall, working on the right side. Immediately, they'll pull away a tear off, and they begin their work, packing this car with fuel. Villeneuve very happy. They don't want him to. He doesn't want them to do anything to change it. So far, a very clean pit stop. They complete their left side work, drop him off the Jackson. Villeneuve is away in 17.1 seconds.
While Marcus Ambrose still sits on pit road.
That's too bad.
This took a lot longer to change this battery than I ever thought it would. I thought that maybe might be about a 45-second change, something like that, but no way.
Something's gone wrong there on the work on the 47 car. We'll try and follow up when they're done. This is the lead.
Yeah, it's a new battle for the lead right here with the 22 and 33.
Brad Keselowski, Max Pappas, not yet come to pit road. Keselowski leading a lap, helping his 22 team. Remember that owner's points race we talked about with the Joe Gibbs Racing effort. And still, they wait.
Andy, that's hard to believe it's taken that long to change a battery.
Yeah, I know. They should have been able to change that a lot quicker than that. Don't know what kind of problems they're running into.
Wow. Talk about heartbreaking. Again in Montreal for Ambrose. He's gonna have a complex about this city. Brad Keselowski pulling drivers left to go to pit road, so that'll put Max Pappas into the lead. Final scheduled stop. So Pappas out in front. And Keselowski coming to the attention of the Penske Racing team. Joey Logano also on pit road. Mike?
And Keselowski initially throughout the course of the day said the car was really loose. Well, it became a little bit tighter as the runs wore on and the racetrack heated up, which isn't always the case, but he feels pretty happy with the race car right now. No major adjustments, 4 tires and fuel for the 22. Keselowski, who came into this race admitting that this is not the style of racing he feels most comfortable with, although his stats contradict that. A couple of top 5 so far in the road course races this year. Looking for another one here today.
So on track, there are 4 drivers who have not yet pitted. Pappas, Leffler, Fitzpatrick, and Bain in this round of stops. Ambrose has rejoined the race. He's showing back in 30th position. And a couple laps down to the race lead, although that'll cycle a little bit
it might
as the green flag stops finish.
He can be 1 lap down. Vince?
Yeah, one of the issues with, as you see the 88, the front end, the rear end, both sliding across the track. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment on Ron Fellows. Also, the water temperature has been a bit of an issue, so they pulled some tape off the front for the 88. Fellows hasn't had the kind of day that he would hope, and you see they're having a little more of a struggle there on the left front to get that left front fender pulled out.
All right. Max Pappas, is he coming on to pit road this time? Here he is at pit entry, and yes.
On pit road.
So Pappas will give up the top spot to pit here as he completes the 48th lap of the race. Jason Leffler also in. That leaves J.R. Fitzpatrick and Trevor Bain to pit before the lead would cycle back around to Carl Edwards. And you see the rest of the cars who have not yet stopped. Fitzpatrick and Bain also in. So Carl Edwards should come by for the lead while we watch these stops, Mike.
And Max Pappas on pit road. He's very happy with his race car. Came into the day extremely confident, feeling like he really had a shot at winning this race. The car's been fairly good, although he's been involved in a little bit of an altercation on the racetrack earlier. They pull the fender away, complete their 4-tire stop with fuel. Shannon?
Mike Trevor Bayne comes down for 4 tires. He's also dealing with an elevated water temp. They are going to pull some tape from the front grille, but what a day it's been for Trevor Bayne. He is down and away. He survived a spin, and he says he thinks he might be losing his brakes, but he is hanging on. Guys?
All right, Shannon, thanks. So you see Carl Edwards on the racetrack ahead of Robbie Gordon. You see Marcus Ambrose just in front of him. So Ambrose is on the tail end of 1 lap down. If he can stay in front of Edwards and pass about 4 or 5 other cars that are 1 lap down, he can put himself in position for a free pass if the yellow comes out to get back on the lead lap.
Well, he's got a lot of work to do before he can get that free pass, but I think it's key that he's only 1 lap down right here. He needs to stay that way until he can maybe get a caution, catch up some of the cars that are 1 down, then get in front of them and maybe get that lucky dog free pass, and he'd be back in it. And then still, he's got a lot more work to do.
Would it be something if the 3 races he dominated, he didn't win, and the one he has trouble in mid-race, he were to come back to win?
It'll be a show.
It will be spectacular if that were to happen, because he doesn't have a lot of laps left to do it. 26 to go in Montreal. Edwards leads Robbie Gordon by a half a second. .24 laps to go. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. Carl Edwards leads. NASCAR Now returns Tuesday night, 1 a.m. Eastern Time, with all the latest NASCAR news. Next weekend, it's on to Atlanta. Saturday night, the NASCAR Nationwide Series, 6:30 Eastern on ESPN2 on the fast mile-and-a-half track. Carl Edwards certainly one of the headliners in that race. Labor Day weekend means it's the Mac Tools U.S. Nationals for the NHRA Full Throttle Drag Racing Series. That's at Indianapolis Raceway Park, qualifying Sunday, 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Finals Monday at 1 Eastern. Then the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series on Sunday night at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN from Atlanta. Coverage presented by Pennzoil. We start with NASCAR Countdown at 7 Eastern Time. They see Marcus Ambrose just in front of Carl Edwards. A lap and nearly a second down. That pit stop took an awful long time, and now Frank Kerr, the crew chief's trying to give his driver the picture.
At 60 is the leader behind you. You're 1 lap down. Past couple cars will get the lucky dog.
Well, he did pass 1.
Yeah, but he got passed by the leader, so now he's 2 down.
Yeah, and that's a problem.
Now, Ambrose just not quite as fast as he was before he had that alternator issue.
Yeah, I've been watching his lap speeds. It's just not looking good right now. Vince, what's he saying on the radio down there?
Well, the car feels a lot better, obviously, now that he's got more power. And he told Frank Kerr, man, I tell you guys, when he came in for that work of the battery, there was damage all over that race car. But they had a big issue with trying to get the battery out, and they weren't able to get it because of some of the damage there on the right side. So Frankie Kerr said, their crew chief said, they just weren't able to get it disconnected and get it out. They were climbing into the car. They had the scissors out to the saw out to cut part of the underneath out so they could get that battery replaced. So it took a long time, but they certainly feel like they've got a car that can still get some things done, and maybe even some more problems for the 47 as now he's off track, guys.
Oh, yeah. Vince, that contact he had with the 34 a minute ago out of the final corner. Looks like there's some more things that developed.
I think he's got a sway bar actually broken here. He's not. Every time he turns the car, you see it rolling over. Not sure.
Here coming down pit road.
I'm not sure if it just broke a sway bar link, but I believe that's what he's got going on here.
Yeah, you can see it. When he makes a turn, Andy, the air dam gets way, look at that, rolling way over.
Yeah, that's what's got going on. I don't know if that's come from hitting curbs or whether it's just a bolt that, came loose.
And it looks like it's a left front. I saw it hanging down as in that last shot we just had.
Oh, no, here's Carpentier having problems.
What happened to the 00, Vince?
Broken track bar mount. They came in, they thought they just maybe had a tire going down, and they came in and immediately saw that the track bar was laying on the ground, so they're going to send Carpentier back to the garage area, as you can see.
And for Ambrose on pit road again.
Well, this will do it for him here.
Yeah, it will. We saw Ambrose come to that last corner. Sparks just flew off that car, and he almost hit the guardrail, gathered it back up, and it looks like as he went in that corner, that's when that left front corner of the sway bar broke.
Left front.
He's just got to be heartbroken.
Up the left, go forward, so you can see something in there. Something's broken. Pull the hood, check it.
Yeah, they'll see what's broken on this left side once they get the tire off.
So the guy raised a hand. He sees it up there at corner somewhere.
And looks back to the crew chief atop the pit box, saying, what do we do about this?
Yeah, it's going to take a while to fix that. They'll have to get on the ground and, fix it, put another link on there.
Yeah, got broken arm joint, bud.
Yeah, arm joints broke.
And there the window net comes down. Done. Only here for one reason.
Yeah, not racing for points. So, hey, their day's over. Loaded up, headed back to North Carolina.
Well, another year in Montreal, another dominant car, and another heartbreak for Marcus Ambrose. Meanwhile, Carl Edwards leads Robbie Gordon by 4 seconds. And you see Jack Villeneuve behind him trying to close in on Gordon for second. He's running third with 22 laps to go, about to be 21 as the leaders come through the final corners and across the start-finish line. So one of the favorites is out. Does Carl Edwards make it 2 years in a row in Montreal? We find out when we come back. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal on a beautiful Sunday afternoon in late August for the NASCAR Nationwide Series, making its once-a-year stop at this 2.7-mile track. Our 5-hour energy rapid recap now to catch you up on what's happened so far. It's been eventful. First little renewal of a team rivalry.
Yeah, Brad Coleman gets in the left rear quarter panel of Brad Keselowski, kind of knocks him sideways, doesn't spin, but gets a little mad.
Little greetings between the two teams racing for the Owners' Championship. 5 cars stack up on one of the tight parts of the course back at lap number 12. Wrinkled up a few fenders.
Yeah, even Robbie Gordon got involved in this one. He's running second right now.
That is Joe Nemechek sideways across the racetrack, and they were all piling in. It's been an interesting day for Jack Villeneuve, the local favorite. He's run well. He's knocked fenders for the lead. He's had some brake issues, knocked Morris Senate around, and right now he's running third.
I just kind of wonder if he's got enough brakes left to get to the finish.
And what can you say about Marcus Ambrose? But dominant and doesn't win in Montreal again.
Guy just got to be so heartbroken. He's had a dominant car, like you said, battery problems. Now a left front rod end on the sway bar failed. There's a lot of problems with this number 47 car with pieces and parts.
That's all about the details, though.
Been real fast, though, Andy. A fast car.
Yeah, he has been fast, but this car really let him down today.
So Ambrose is out. Edwards is the leader. He's up on Robbie Gordon by 4 seconds with 19 laps to go as Edwards continues to stretch the advantage, looking for a second consecutive win here in Montreal. There is Robbie Gordon working his way through some lap traffic. Ron Fellows off the pace in the 88.
Come in, stop, show them it ain't no oil running out of it, and we'll go back out.
Here's the radio traffic out to Ron from Pop Fury, the crew chief. So Villeneuve trying to close in on Robbie Gordon here and make a race of it for second spot. He's got him in his sights anyway.
And I'll tell you what, that will be a race if they get to caution, okay, because Jacques Villeneuve is just flying on the racetrack. That last time by almost a second faster than Carl Edwards. So if he can get closed back up, hey, guys, we got a race again here. Mike?
Well, guys, you want to know how competitive Villeneuve is? Well, recently, just after that last round of pit stops, he radioed in to Trent Owen asking how fast is the leader. Trent Owen's response was 43.5. The very next lap, Villeneuve turned it up, 42.9. His last lap, 42.6. A full second faster than the leader. Villeneuve is definitely coming, guys.
Well, they're not lying to him, Mike, because that's what we're seeing up here in the booth in our timing device also. So he is getting it done right now.
I talked to Jason Leffler before the race and just talking about their team, you know, how much that Villeneuve has helped them. And he said it's a tremendous amount with the car, but he's also helped him in how he drives the car. But he did talk about the brakes, and he said that if he would take it easy on the brakes and try to make, you know, where it didn't abuse them, it cost him about a second a lap on the track. So, you know, Villeneuve could have been trying to save some brakes there for a few laps and then finally turn the wick back up to see what he can run.
Little off-course excursion for Brendan Gaughan and back on. Brendan back in 13th spot and losing a couple there.
Yeah, wheel hop. See that? Another classic case of that. Those rear tires lock up and around he goes.
2.5 loop.
Yeah.
And continuing on again, Brendan falling back now to 15th position. Couple of cars getting by him while he was getting it turned back in the right direction. So, Marcus Ambrose out. Vince?
Another frustrating end at Montreal for you, Marcus. How would you summarize this day?
Well, you can't say we didn't give it a shot. You know, we had the fastest car out there, but we had a alternator or a battery lay down on us. And had to turn all the fans off for the brakes and for me, and for the engine, everything got really hot, and we held the lead for a while, but the engine was getting worse and worse. Eventually, it just quit running completely, and we had to come in, change the battery, then we broke some of the left front suspension. So, bad day for us, but we're still proud of it. You know, little Debbie came on board. I'm trying to get into victory lane. We're trying everything we can, but it's just not working out for us.
Had some great battles out there today. How would you characterize the racing that you went through at times?
Yeah, it was a cracker. You know, it was really good fun, and racing against Jacques and Carl, I mean, they're the best in the business, and just a real thrill to be out there. It's just a shame we couldn't close it off.
Alan?
All right, Vince. Heartbreak again in Montreal for Marcus Ambrose, but they sure knew he was here. That's for sure. Edwards up on Robbie Gordon by 6 seconds, 17 laps to go. Carl trying to be the road course king again today in Canada.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at Montreal is brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Drive drunk and you will be arrested. Drunk driving over the limit under arrest. And Verizon. The signal is yours. Wield it to transmit anything you want. Verizon.
Little footwork from Max Pappas running in 4th position. And under pressure from Paul Menard for that spot as we come back to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. 15 laps to go for the race leaders. And you are looking at Brad Keselowski also in that group in 6th position.
Yeah, you see Brad Keselowski has his hand out the window trying to pull in some cool air.
Guys, I didn't notice.
Run.
Did you notice, Andy, that his left front's tore up that bad in the 22 car?
Yeah, he got into the left rear, or actually into the right rear of a car down the hairpin. I don't remember who it was, but that's what caused that damage.
Well, look at that.
I think it was Joe Nemechek, maybe. Yeah, he's got some damage, pretty heavy damage there, but I can see him putting his hand out the window trying to get some cool air.
Yeah, that was a few laps ago down at the hairpin when Keselowski got into Nemechek, so he stayed on the racetrack. We're not seeing any heavy smoke, but that tire sure does look like it's laid over heavily, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, Max Pappas was able to pass him, and Paul Menard also passed him, I believe.
You know, Alan, you were talking earlier in our broadcast about these cars. After this race is over, every one of these cars now is obsolete. The brand new car for the Nationwide Series will be run on the road courses next year. So this is the last race. They can be used in the K&N East and West Series. They can be used in ARCA a little bit, but not Nationwide no more.
Keselowski after Paul Menard for 5th place. Down to the hairpin. That is not the right spot on the track to make the pass on that outside lane. Mentioned where the 22 got that damage. This was a few laps ago.
In that same corner they just went through, you see right here, he tries to get under Joe Nemechek. I got to feel like Joe Nemechek didn't know he was there. Kind of turned down a little bit, and Brad was committed.
You know, Rusty, thinking about what you're just saying about how the next generation car replaces these for next year, and this is the last race that these cars will be used because there are no more road course races this season. From the looks of a lot of them, it's a good thing. Is there anybody that's got straight fenders on it?
I don't think anybody does not have damage. Every one of these cars are tore up in different corners, and some of them are just flat tore up to smithereens. And they're still running fast. I mean, I looked at Max Pappas's car. It came by all beat up, but still running good. And even Carl Edwards' car is tore up, and it's still running good.
All right, let's look at some of the front runners. You've got Carl Edwards out in front of the race. He's about to take the tally for most laps led in the day from Marcus Ambrose. There's the gap back to the race for 2nd and 3rd. Robbie Gordon, 07. Jack Villeneuve in 32 in 3rd. Then you've got Max Pappas, who's a considerable distance behind. He's almost 20 seconds behind Villeneuve in 4th place. So we'll wait for a minute for Max. What's that music they play? Waiting
there
on hold.
That looks like maybe the 12 car.
Wait on.
That's actually
there he
Justin Allgaier. There comes Max.
Yep.
He has the fastest lap on the board last lap.
There's Max back in 4th. You've got Menard and Keselowski racing for 5th and 6th behind him. And there's the race with Keselowski trying to make that move to the inside.
In fact, Paul actually got in there a little too hot.
Ran out of brakes trying to defend the spot. So Keselowski to 5th, Menard 6th. Then another chunk of track back, some 17 seconds. You get back to Boris Said, who runs in the 7th position in the 09 car. He'll come into the picture in just a minute. There's only 14 cars left on the lead lap in this thing. That's Boris.
And very seldom do you see that. Only 14 cars on the lead lap on a track this big, but a lot of damage on these cars. They're all running different speeds.
And a long green flag run, too, Rusty, through a set of pit stops.
Absolutely.
Boris, remember, got bumped by Villeneuve when they were racing for a spot earlier. There's Jason Leffler. Good, solid starting spot for the 38 today in 6th position, and he's running in 8th right now. J.R. Fitzpatrick in the number 7 car, running in 9th on the lead lap and racing for that spot with Trevor Bayne in the 99, running in 10th.
Yeah, Bain's done a good job today. He's kept it mostly out of trouble. He's got a lot of damage on his car also.
I see one thing from a lot of drivers. I see their hand out that window going down the straightaway. It's a long green flag run on a very, very tough track, and I think the drivers are starting to take its toll on the drivers.
Trying to get some air inside the car. Well, Carl Edwards has got it going on inside that 60 machine. Another day at the office looking for another trophy. Inside of 11 laps to go in Montreal with Carl Edwards in search of a victory here today north of the border. Very important American League East game down in Florida tonight as the Red Sox visit the Rays on ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball. 5.5 games back in the rubber game of this series are the Red Sox behind the Rays and the Yankees. Also on ESPN's Monday Night Baseball, important National League East game. It's David Wright of the Mets facing Jason Hayward and the Braves. That one at 7 Eastern time. Both games available on ESPN3.com. While Edwards continues to lead, one of the lead lap cars is on pit road with some troubles. Shannon?
Right now over the radio they are saying the right side track bar is rubbing on the tires, so they are going to try to fix that and hopefully get him back out. He's having such a great run, guys, especially with that 3rd place finish at Road America. They had a lot of hopes coming into this race. Right now it does not look good for that 62 team. Vince?
Well, the leader is not having any issues whatsoever. Carl Edwards says the car feels good. Crew Chief Drew Blickensderfer continues to give him his lap times and tell him that everything is A-OK. The biggest problem Edwards has had this weekend came on Friday when a security guard wouldn't let him in the track because Carl didn't have his parking pass for his passenger car. Only when fans started shouting Edwards' name and asking for autographs did the security guard believe that Edwards was a driver and agree to let him in. Carl said other than that, it's been a great weekend. As far as the fuel is concerned, they seem to be just fine there too. They say, Blickensderfer just a moment ago told Carl, we should be one to the good, but maybe save when you can. Alan?
So Edwards and his team talking on the radio about the various situations developing at the end of the race.
0-7 in second, 5.2 back, pitted 3 laps before us. So if we're tight, we should be good on him. He should be able to make it. The 32 one after us is going to be close to us. We should be one to the good, so just save when you can. 11 to go.
Well, I'm watching the lap times, and he has slowed up just a little bit, maybe trying to save a little fuel.
That the radio traffic just seconds ago from crew chief to driver giving him the picture. You see Robbie Gordon visible behind him, but still 3.7 seconds back.
Yeah, that's the key word of that whole transmission was we should be okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, Andy, you and I and Rusty were talking during the commercial break. So we had Edwards pitting from the lead at lap 44. Robbie Gordon pitted at lap 42. The 32 car pitted at lap 45.
Yeah, I just don't see Robbie Gordon making it to the finish. He was gambling. I mean, he got put in that position by having to start in the rear and got in another tangle. So he was kind of forced into a strategy play, and I don't think it's going to play out for him because we don't have enough laps left to have enough cautions for him to make it. But, you know, I don't know about Edwards or Villeneuve. They could possibly make it to the finish, but it's going to be close.
Wow, 32 cars sliding.
He's not saving any fuel.
No, he's not. I don't think he knows that. I don't think he knows that speed. I think Villeneuve only knows one speed, and that's win. Robbie Gordon tried to deal with Michael Annette's car, 15 car. Has had its troubles today, as you can tell, but he is
smoking big time. He's got a ton of smoke coming out of that car.
I was going to say he just went a lap down, Michael, but maybe some...
yeah, he's got bigger problems.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, there you go.
Oh,
man, that might bring a caution.
And that will bring a caution out.
That's going to be something everybody's looking for.
There is a full course caution which probably takes the fuel out of the equation.
At least for a couple guys. I'm not sure it does for Robbie Gordon. I don't know if we got enough laps left for him to save enough fuel.
But it also takes the lead and evaporates it.
It does. And Villeneuve has been fast.
Yep. Well, whatever it was that was causing that smoke on the right front, when he tried to make the right-hand turn out of this corner, didn't like it.
Okay, right. He ain't see this goes right front tire's flat. See the sparks.
That's two. We need to go to the garage.
What is this?
Uh-oh, Carl's got he's got a track bar broken, guys.
Unbelievable. Yep. The leader has broke a rear track bar.
I'm telling you, this track is really hard on cars with all these curbs.
Out of this race.
We've seen a lot of problems today. That's
Robbie
too bad.
Gordon and Jacques Villeneuve, Max Pappas, these guys are sitting in position now to win this thing.
Now, what's Gordon going to do if he's low on fuel?
Turn the motor off.
There's 13 cars on the lead lap.
That's what it looks like on the big screen, Drew. I don't know if you can see it, but that's what it looks like on the TV here.
So, Carl Edwards.
Well, Carl's done.
Is going to have to go to the pit area and fix that. Then the fuel becomes the question between Robbie Gordon and Jacques Villeneuve, and a side-by-side restart for the race win inside of 10 laps to go.
Well, let's not forget about Max Pappas. He's been fast. Yeah, right there's where it was already broke when he got in that corner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the tires are rubbing. See, that track bar holds that rear end centered in the car, and when it's disconnected or broken, it's able to just move side to side.
You know, Andy, at Road America, one of the last road course races we had,
you can see the mount right dragging the track.
It was destroying track bar mounts, really tearing these cars up.
These curbs, you know, they jump up and down off of these curbs. These cars are fairly durable, but you know, they don't taper so much.
You see it broken on the right-hand side of the car. This big curve on the entry of turn through 13 and 14 here at this track in Montreal is very tall, very severe, and I think it really beats the equipment up.
Well, the other thing is road courses work things back and forth, side to side, and you do that enough, and it'll break something. I mean, oval tracks, it just pulls that track bar one position, one way, all the time, and it's kind of consistent. But you start working it back and forth, it'll finally give up.
Andy, you know my favorite saying. You never know what's going to happen in these races till the finish.
You still don't.
That's right. We've had bizarre finishes to these races. Now we've got 13 cars on the lead lap at this point. Do you stop if you're 32? Do you stop if you're 07?
Well, I would have stopped if I was Robbie Gordon. Here comes Villeneuve.
Why would Villeneuve pit, though, Andy? He pitted on lap
they may not be able to make it.
He pitted on lap 46. That should be plenty of fuel to make it. This puts Max Pappas in a fantastic position with Brad Keselowski.
Maybe the fresh tires are what he wants,
Robbie Gordon is going to be on the edge. Mike?
Well, they've been talking about fuel for a good 10, 15 laps or so, asking Villeneuve to be very smooth and conserve a little bit. So they're going to come down here. They're going to bolt on 4 new Goodyears and take on about 5 gallons of fuel. That was the instruction from Trent Owen. They don't need a full fuel load. They just need enough to get to the checkers and keep this car as light as possible. They are working on the left side of the car now, completing their tire change. Villeneuve extremely happy with the way the car's been handling, but obviously there were some concerns about fuel.
We'll see what happens.
So of the 13 cars that are on the lead lap, 7 stayed on the racetrack, 6 came down pit road. So Villeneuve, being first off pit lane, is going to be back 7th in line for the restart.
Well, if he knows that they can't make it, it's a good move, because I don't think Robbie Gordon can make it.
If we are the leader, what do you want to do here?
Stay out, dude. Win the race.
All right, dude. Let's do it. It's all you.
Yeah, I don't know about asking the driver that.
So Robbie's got to be doing that whole shut off the switches and coast around, and
he can do all that. I still don't think he's got enough, but we'll see.
And how about this?
That's going to take a while to fix that car. We're going to have to weld that bracket back on.
Carl Edwards behind the wall from the lead inside of 10 laps to go at Montreal. Another dominant driver disappointed on this afternoon in Quebec. Down to the final moments here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, but contending for the win will not be Carl Edwards, the driver who's led the most laps today behind the wall, having the track bar mount on his car repaired after it broke while leading at the race's 5th caution with the finish in sight. On the racetrack, Robbie Gordon is the new leader by not pitting under this yellow. Max Pappas is now up to 2nd spot in the Harvick's 33 car. He's our in-race reporter. Try and call him up there, Rusty.
Max, Rusty Wallace, ESPN, you got us?
Yep.
All right, buddy, you're running second. Looks like you got plenty of fuel in the back of that car to make it. What's that car feeling like, buddy?
I'm feeling good. I'm just trying to hydrate myself, drink as much as I can, and just go to the end.
Max, you concerned about turn 1 and 2? It's been pretty hairy on these restarts.
I'm just going to give my best, and that's what we say.
All right, buddy, thanks for talking to us.
I have one word in what I'm hearing there.
Yeah, focus.
Focus.
Not only that, I mean, we've seen a lot of these drivers sticking their hands out the windows, and it's very, very hard on them right now. It's a hot day. This is hard racing. And when you hear Max Pappas talking about that, how he's kind of struggling physically here, he's probably the most fit guy in one of these cars.
Yeah, that was a 42-lap green flag run.
That was a lot of, yeah, that was hard.
Yep.
You know, Max was awful nice to talk to us on the radio. I think if I was in the car, I said, hey, get out of my ear, man. I'm focusing. Okay.
Here comes Carl Edwards back onto the racetrack. He is not on the lead lap. He has lost a lap.
But he is racing for points. And I remember, where was it, guys? Back at Watkins Glen where Clint Boyer.
Yep, he came in and welded up a trailing arm bracket and got back out and only lost a lap or maybe 2. Or he may have lost 3, but he didn't lose very many.
Problem is for Carl, so he gets back out 1 lap down. He's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got to be 6th in line a lap down. And there's only going to be 6 or 5 laps left in this race. So even if he passes all those cars, gets a caution, gets the free pass. You know?
And that's all if that track bar mount holds up.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That's pretty hard to repair that on spur of the moment like that, but they did a good job getting it done.
Looking farther back, Villeneuve in the 32, the first car off the pit lane. He's going to line up 7th for this restart. And does Robbie Gordon have enough fuel to make it to the finish, Mike?
Well, that is the million-dollar question, catching up with his crew chief, Miles Stanley, right now. Do you have enough fuel to go the distance?
We're all good. We got enough.
How are you able to get such good fuel mileage?
A lot of it has to do with the engine package, the carb setup. The other half is Rob's right foot.
There you have it, guys. They think they can go the distance.
He sounded pretty confident.
Well, he's the guy that asked Robbie what he wants to do, and Robbie said to stay out, so Robbie knows he's low on fuel. He's got to be conserving. Short shift this thing, turn the motor off. A lot of guys do that. Coast as long as he can. It's about the only thing he can do right now, Andy.
Yeah, they didn't get that. I kind of had my doubts about whether they could have got that thing fixed right or not.
Yeah, the whole thing's dragging now. So.
It just broke again, Drew. It just broke again.
That is probably going to be the end of it for Carl Edwards, who sled.
Weld the thing damn solid. Weld it solid. Weld the bar that's on there right now solid to whatever amount's left. Come to us.
Carl led 29 laps on the day, the most. The driver who led 25 laps, Marcus Ambrose, out of the race, mechanical troubles. And so we come to the survivors, if you will, and what will be the final 6 laps to go here in Montreal. Robbie Gordon is the race leader. Remember, he started at the back of the pack because he had troubles in qualifying. A brake duct and a brake hose came off his car. They had to make repairs, violation of the impound rules. He started at the back of the field, used strategy to try and get some track position. The strategy worked out. He was running in the top 5, then he was running second, and now things have worked his way as Edwards has gone to the sidelines.
He's going to have to deal with Max Pappas, but also, I mean, you just look right back here. You see that 32 car?
Yeah.
He's got new tires. He's going to be on a mission.
New tires, bad brakes. But I'm going to tell you one thing to take a look at. Brad Keselowski, he's right in position. He's leading our points right now. He's been fast all year long in the last 2 road courses, top 5 positions. I am not counting him out of this picture.
We talked at the beginning of the day about these Montreal races having a penchant for the bizarre, about late race drama, unexpected twists of plot, surprise winners. Hello, here we are. Here we are. And we're getting ready to go back racing for the final 6 laps. Gordon has chosen drivers left for this restart. Ambrose chose drivers right most of the day when he was out in front. See how that works out. Remember, turn 1 is a quick left-hander, but turn 2 is a hard right-hander. Pappas will draw to his outside. Watch for the orange lines on the wall. Drivers left. That's the restart zone. 6 laps to go in Montreal. Gordon and Pappas, Keselowski and Said. Villeneuve is back in 7th spot. Here we go.
Pappas got a good start there.
Somebody's going to end up in the grass. Here we go. Pappas is going to come back on in front of the field. Look at the scramble. Watch the yellow 32 as they go 3 wide in front of him. Oh, there. Leffler gets turned around.
Whoa! Klingerman goes through there. Just barely clears him.
Was there enough room there?
No. There was not.
A mess at the exit of turn 2.
Oh, my goodness.
Colin Brown all torn up.
6 laps to go.
That is the 10 of Taylor Malsom. Right of your screen, Jason Leffler was running in 5th position. Now he's lost all that track position.
You know, I wonder when they interviewed Miles Stanley, crew chief on Robbie Gordon's car, why he was so confident. Now I know. He knew this was going to happen.
This is helping him.
He didn't think they were going to get many green flag laps left here.
Making fuel now, aren't they, Andy?
Well, let's go back and look at that restart. First of all, watch the 33 and the 07 and see how Pappas came back on the track in the middle of this thing.
Well, Max does a great job right here. He kind of anticipates his start, gets a little advantage getting into the first turn. Robbie kind of gets loose, forces him off the track.
The first 3 cars through the grass.
Oh, my goodness. What a mess.
Yeah. Boris gets going. Keselowski was the real loser in that, and the contact was Villeneuve into Jason Leffler.
They're teammates, aren't they?
Watch this. Well, Bain into Villeneuve first, and then Villeneuve into Leffler.
Okay. Well, they're all Toyotas at least.
Wow. Clunk, bang,
and you see right
fenders.
here. Oh, man,
wow.
Bang gets hammered. Look at Kligerman right here. Oh, man.
And Brad Coleman.
So did Coleman. Man, they both hit the wall there.
Yep.
That's concrete.
It doesn't give.
No. But neither does Villeneuve. He flat turned.
This is not
38.
funny. I know it's not funny, but I'm telling you what, there is no sheet metal left out there. They better be happy. This is the last race for these cars.
Justin Allgaier.
They're stacking
Goodness
up.
gracious.
Keep taking it left. Go. Stay right.
Look at Kligerman.
Well, I've had these spotters before, Andy, say, go right, go left. Oh, heck, just stop.
All right.
Colin Brown's car is destroyed here. They're going to have to pick it up.
Man alive, look at the carnage.
So, how did that all shake out? Well, Gordon hung on to the lead. Boris Said is showing second. Pappas third. And there's Villeneuve in 4th.
New tires?
Bizarre twists of plot, dramatic endings. One of the other things we talked about on Countdown, the hometown hero. And what this place would be like if he were to find a way to squeeze through and win this thing. He does have fresh tires, Andy, and fuel isn't a question for him.
So I like his chances here. If they can get some green flag racing. Still got to make it through 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Clean. At some point.
Yeah.
I do know one thing. Those new tires feel really good on restarts compared to those old tires. And he can be able to, their first couple of corners, Jacques needs to really get it done.
I'd almost written Robbie Gordon off as not being able to make it, but with these caution flag laps now, that's helping for sure. He may be able to make it.
Follow-up earlier, we saw Michael Annett hit the wall. He has been treated and released from the infield care center. And Brad Coleman, remember that 18, the Joe Gibbs team racing for the Owners' Championship against Penske Racing in the 22. And Keselowski right now showing 5th on the racetrack. Coleman on pit lane, still showing in 17th position. And Carl Edwards, again, repairs to the track bar on that 60 car. Right now, he still shows in 18th spot. That's how many cars have been beaten up and knocked around in this race. All right, Mike.
And catching up now with Ernie Cope, crew chief for Max Pappas. And here at Montreal, the concerns are usually 2 things, brakes and fuel. What are your concerns right now?
Right now, we're good on gas and brakes. He's been taking care of his stuff pretty good. Biggest thing I'm worried about is that 07. He just didn't turn down there and run us off the racetrack. We'll get him, though. We get at least 3 laps. We're 2 seconds quicker than he is. We'll get him.
Did that hurt the race car at all?
No, it didn't hurt the race car at all. Just, I don't know. We'll just get him.
Obviously, guys, a little upset, perhaps a little bit more motivated than they were a few laps ago.
Wonder what Kevin Harvick said when he watched that.
What about Max Pappas?
Same thing Ernie was saying.
You guys know these Italians get pretty mad.
Well, Max has certainly got the fire in his belly to win this race. We've heard that from him throughout the weekend. Here's another look at that run down into turns 1 and 2. Robbie Gordon, remember, Pappas got ahead of him on the restart, so Robbie was trying to make sure he was even in that corner, and he just ran out of stopping power.
Yeah, I think Robbie just overdrove the corner.
Yeah, I actually saw Robbie's, the back of his car start coming around as he was getting into turn 1.
I'm still trying to figure out how Robbie Gordon came out of all that with the lead.
He got going quicker than Pappas did exiting the grass there. Now watch driver's right. There he goes.
Okay, that's how he did it.
Just got going out of the grass more quickly. I think that's how this whole running order has been set for the moment. The caution has just been extended by 1 lap because they're having some trouble getting, looks like Taylor Malsom's wrecked race car out of that area between the exit of turn 2 and the hard right-hand turn number 3. So while we wait for these final 4 laps, let's remind you that there's more NASCAR Nationwide Series action upcoming at these speedways for the remainder of the 2010 season. Atlanta next weekend, Richmond, Dover, Kansas, etc. Want to join us at one of those tracks? Check out NASCAR.com/tickets and join us at the races.
All good ones. There is no bad ones, is there?
No, there are good days and bad days, but no bad races, right?
That's exactly right. I saw a lot of good races there.
Only one on new tires.
That sounded like radio traffic from Trent Owens to Jack Villeneuve in the 32. Well, look at these race cars. If you're just tuning in and just joining us, that'll tell you all you need to know about what kind of race it's been. Look at the bent fenders. Look at the wrinkled quarter panels. It has been a rough and rugged race on this road course. We've seen the 2 dominant drivers on the day both have mechanical problems. Carl Edwards led 29 laps. He's behind the wall. Marcus Ambrose led 25 laps. He's out of the race. And the end result is that we're going to have a little it'll be a 3-lap shootout to the finish of this one, barring extended laps for green, white checker finishes. Robbie Gordon, 1 goal in mind for this weekend, revenge at Montreal. Remember this, the first race here, he and Marcus Ambrose tangled, contact there, with about 3 laps to go, sent Ambrose spinning around. Then they go in again after a big wreck that caused a restart. And Ambrose got into Gordon. Robbie got going again. He didn't like where NASCAR put him in line. He stayed on the racetrack, stayed as the leader. Then there was the contact that spun Ambrose around. I'm catching back up to myself on the story here. Kevin Harvick went on to win after starting like back in 30th place. It was wild.
I get the picture.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of wrecking.
Crazy. It's been that way. 4 years now here. It's been that kind of a day. How about that 32 team, Mike? What are they thinking being in 3rd position here?
We're going to find out. Trent Owen, 4 fresh tires here. What do you think you have here in the closing laps?
Well, I think we're going to use the 4 fresh tires and get to the front. You know, I don't know where the 07 is on fuel, but it's going to be exciting, to say the least. We just need to get back going green and keep running these caution laps, kind of hurting us. But, you know, Jock's done a great job as always. This is such a great time working with him, and we'll hopefully close this thing out. We really need a win bad, so just happy all the Dollar General guys are here with us, and see if we can close this thing out.
What advice have you given him for these closing laps? 2 very talented road course racers in front of him.
Oh, I just tell him don't hold back. I mean, show us everything. You know, it doesn't matter if we finish 3rd, 4th, or 5th right now. We want to win, so he's going to do all he can to get to the front.
And Jacques Villeneuve not holding back. Well, that could be exciting, Alan.
Yeah, think so. Villeneuve showing in 4th position. I think I said 3rd a minute ago, but showing 4th at the moment. Robbie Gordon started at the back of the pack for this race. After troubles in qualifying, he stopped in this race about 5 times before we ever really got going, topping off the fuel on a series of early caution flags to try and find a strategy that would be different than everyone else.
Yeah. This kind of changed it up a little bit, though. He got in this wreck. Big bottle up there. So he gets hammered from behind by Ricky Stenhouse.
So they went in, made the repairs to that car. Gordon's strategy worked his way up to 2nd place, and then when Carl Edwards broke that rear track bar mount, it put him into the lead, which led to that last shuffle down into turns 1 and 2 with he, Max Pappas, and others.
Unbelievable. Made it through. Didn't tear the car up right there. You saw Max Pappas come across. Everybody kind of got out of there pretty clean, even though it looked really bad. You know, Alan, one thing I've been wanting to talk about with Robbie Gordon's car, I was down there talking to him and found out that the 07 car And the 47 car of Marcus Ambrose, those cars are basically built identical by the same guy. I looked at him, I said, boy, these things look the same. He goes, they should be. We built them. They're the same. Frankie Kerr had a lot to do with both of these cars.
Well, the car that Ambrose drove today ran well until Mechanical Gremlins sidelined it. Interesting to see that Robbie Gordon has again chosen drivers left for the restart.
I got a feeling somebody's going to get clobbered down in turn 1 and 2. I just don't know who it's going to be, but I think it's going to be one of those top 5 or 6. You know why? Because it's happened every time.
Yeah. Yep. So coming to the restart, there will be 3 laps to go in this race. There are 11 cars on the lead lap at this point. Double file at the front of the field. You see them there. Jason Leffler did pit under this caution after the spin a minute ago, as did Parker Kligerman. And they got some repairs made after getting shoved around in that last little scrum off turn number 2. So it is Gordon with Boris Said now to his right. Then in the second row, you've got Max Pappas in the 33, Villeneuve in the 32. Who has the track position better lane for that right-hand corner? Might depend on who gets the better break in front of them. Might also depend on who bounces off who in front of them, if they get through cleanly or not. I'll bet you if I'm in that 32 car, I'm watching for those 2 guys in front of me to go off the track or come back on and go wide. Here they come. 3 laps to go. What's it going to be this time in Montreal?
Boy, Gordon got through the gearbox really good there.
And Villeneuve did not get a very good restart, but he runs deep into the corner. Deep into the corner.
Good corner for Robbie.
Looks like they're going to make it through the turn, but turns 1 and 2.
Nobody got clobbered. I was wrong. I apologize.
Yeah, I'd have gone with you on that one.
Listen to all the tires squealing.
Wow. Robbie Gordon was sideways off that last left-hander. Boris Said looking hard. Gordon defends. Villeneuve looking for a way through. And Max Pappas just stalking right there in that 33 car. Down the hill under the bridge, turns 8 and 9.
Boy, I just saw the back end of Jacques Villeneuve's car really locking up, sliding around.
Oh, little contact. Well, Pappas has got the inside lane for the right-hand hairpin. No, he couldn't make it work. Pappas slides around. Watch Keselowski try to go through.
See the red light on. Oh, you see the 22 car right there. He's got a red light on inside the car. That's for rain. It's inadvertently turned on, I'm sure.
What about Boris Said right there?
Putting pressure on Robbie Gordon. Villeneuve looks inside of Keselowski. Can't get that spot back. Coming down to 2 laps to go as they hop the curbs in the final 2 corners.
Boy, Robbie's doing a great job really making that car look big, but does he have enough gas? Is he going to make it on fuel?
Paul Menard giving that Champions Wall a scare in the final turn. Jack Villeneuve trying to go through Keselowski. Get that spot back. It'll put him back to 4th. Trevor Bayne trying to follow through. Fitzpatrick right there as well in the 7. Big smoker on the front straightaway. It's Jason Leffler. We'll see if he's able to get
Trevor Bayne in the wall.
Hard hit for Bayne.
Wrecked me, Jerry. They wrecked. Yeah, 7 wrecked him.
There is Leffler. Oh, goodness.
Everywhere.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, 2 to go, and the track's oiled down.
Get off at turn 3. Get off at turn 3. Turn 3. Get off the track. Off turn 3.
Robbie Gordon with a little bit of a lead for the moment. And the caution comes out for the oil from Jason Leffler's car. We're going to go to overtime.
We're going to caution, and that's music to Robbie Gordon's ears right now. He needed that to make it on fuel.
Well, I'm not so sure. It's going to add laps to the race now. So
this could be a lengthy cleanup, and you could extend this race by a bit. And Villeneuve is the one that stopped for fuel. This.
Now you got me thinking.
This could get interesting.
Turn it off.
Hey, Robbie said I'm going to run out of fuel.
Just save fuel. We'll be good. Save fuel.
Oh boy.
Turn that motor off.
Oh, boy. Well, if I were to show you the notepad in front of me from trying to keep track of all
I've looked, you're on another page.
There's so much stuff that's happened in this race. Watch for Trevor Bayne. He and J.R. Fitzpatrick tangling there.
Hard hit out of Bayne, big time.
Oh. Gosh, look at Leffler go over the curb right there.
And then bounced off the back
almost
of
landed
the
on
87 car.
Almost landed on top of him.
And so Leffler's top 10 potential for the day will come to an end sitting alongside the wall at the exit of turn number 2. So, Mike, you're in the 32 pit. What's happening?
Well, I think you hit on something there, Alan. As soon as that caution flag waved, everybody on the 32 pit box started to clap. They're hoping for a long caution here, too, thinking that maybe that'll run the fuel cell dry of Robbie Gordon and enable them to capitalize and maybe go to victory today.
You know, Andy, I remember back when I was running at Pocono, Dale Earnhardt Sr. shoved me around the racetrack all the way around. I did win the race, but I was really low in fuel. I had the motor turned off, and Dale shoved me around onto the white flag lap.
Boy, that was nice of him.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Was
and he
running
fired
second?
it back up. No, he figured if I won, the guy he was racing for the championship, that would help him.
Oh, I knew it had to help him somehow.
There was a plan there, and we talked about it. But, you know, that is legal. You can push a guy around
until the last
track.
lap.
That's right. I wonder if Robbie's thinking of somebody to help push him.
I know he can't count on anybody behind him right now. Nobody back there wants to push him.
No. Boris said, pitted at lap 46. Robbie Gordon at lap 48. Pappas at 48. Villeneuve at 66. How many of these other guys might run out of fuel, too, if this cleanup takes a little while to clean this oil up?
There's a lot of oil out there. Look at that.
Look at
That's
that.
a big mess.
Oh,
So
boy.
that is bad for Robbie Gordon right now. Boy, whenever you see a caution, you think it's going to be good, but this one's going to be a long one, and that could spell disaster for Robbie.
And the man with the most fuel on board among those front 4 is the hometown guy. And I don't count him out just yet. Not just on the fuel circumstances either, by the way.
Yeah, he might be able to just pass all these guys.
Yeah, you never know. He couldn't do it last restart, but
Max Pappas has actually got about 6 more laps of fuel in his tank than our leader, Robbie Gordon. He's looking good on fuel. Boris said he's got 4 more laps of fuel than our leader. He's looking okay at best right now.
It looks like Keselowski will be all right, too.
NASCAR on ESPN from Montreal, Quebec, where today's NASCAR Nationwide Series 200-miler has been a dramatic one for sure. Robbie Gordon is the current race leader. Championship leader Brad Keselowski's 5th. The stories of the day are this. The 2 dominant drivers, Marcus Ambrose and Carl Edwards, both out after mechanical problems for each. Edwards trying to win the race for a 2nd straight year. Ambrose trying to win it for a 4th year after leading a bunch of laps. Neither will take home the trophy today. Robbie Gordon started at the tail end of the field, was involved in an accident early. His team made repairs. They used strategy to get him some track position. He inherited the lead when Edwards' car failed, and Gordon is out in front, but running low on fuel.
And the next time they come by will be the scheduled distance.
Yep. The hometown favorite, Jack Villeneuve, the former Formula One champion, the track named for his father, is running in 4th position at the moment. He has the most fuel on board. He has the freshest tires among the front 4. The question is, does he have enough laps left to get around these guys? If they don't falter in front of him, it would be a huge celebration by these Quebec race fans if the 32 car were to win. So let's check on some of the fuel stories. We heard Robbie Gordon say on his radio, I'm going to run out of fuel. And his crew chief said, no, we'll be fine. Just save some. What about Boris Said's team, Mike?
Well, crew chief Scott Zibidelli brought him down pit road the last time, lap 46. How would you assess the fuel situation?
We're good right now. I think I just heard that they're going to stop right now, put the red out, so that helps us. But we're 3 laps to the good. As long as we don't get any more green, white checkers or anything like that, we'll be in fine shape.
We just got word that they are going to stop the cars and go red. What effect does this have on you guys?
I want to just get it over with. You know, I didn't want to see that last caution. I didn't think still don't think the 07 can make it. They stopped 3 laps before us. And I don't know how they can make it, but You know, we got a great driver. Boris said's doing an awesome job. It's been a complete pleasure to work with. Performance Friction gave us the best brakes that money can buy, provided us with all that system for the car, and it's just working. It's working fantastic. The guys did a great job. Zaxby's on the hood. We've had a lot of fun this weekend, and Montreal's a great city. I can't wait to get it over with, and hopefully we can get a good solid finish.
A win here today would obviously be very popular for Boris Said, but also would be big for Scott Zipadelli. After all, he's been sitting on the sidelines for a couple of months. He comes back, and as a crew chief, well, possibly could get a win right away.
So we are under the red flag, or will be momentarily. They're waiting to close the field up and get them all stopped there behind the pace car. And when that happens, NASCAR will put the red flag out. And they do this in order to continue the cleanup, which that streak of oil running right through the center of the track is going to require some attention. And let's face it, we waited for this kind of a dramatic finish. You want to have good track conditions under which to get these final few laps of this race run.
Absolutely. I tell you, I'm really happy what race director Joe Ballas just did by doing this. I mean, to sit here and run these guys till they all run out of gas on a caution flag, it's not a good race, and I think he knows that. He stopped this race, going to clean this thing up real good and say, okay, guys, have at it. Let's see what you got.
Just joining us, we had all kind of caution flags in the opening laps of the race. We had 4 yellows in the first 24 laps, then ran a long stretch of run, 42 laps without seeing the caution flag. And then we've had another run of 3 yellow flags and now a red flag here in the closing laps of the race, and plenty of drama to play out in this one. Marcus Ambrose, Jack Villeneuve, the show for much of the day. Ambrose in the 47, Villeneuve in the 32. This was just one of their exchanges. Then Villeneuve had some contact with Boris Said. Looked like the brakes kind of went away in his car into the corner.
It looks like Boris Said's brakes worked better than Villeneuve's did getting in that corner.
A little strategy here, pitting from second position, essentially second position, because Carl Edwards was going behind the wall on a late caution, taking fresh tires and a little more fuel on board.
Yeah, they just wanted to make sure, hedge their bet, they had enough fuel in case this race went long, which it's going to. You know, they got fresh tires and enough fuel, put themselves in a good spot.
Put the 32 back to 7th for a restart. He raced his way up to 4th in a quick couple of laps and finds himself in that 4th position at this moment. As we get down to the final laps of the race, little contact there, trying to find a way around Max Pappas to get the 3rd position. And actually is going to lose a spot on an exchange in the hairpin here and get it back about a half a lap later. Pappas with a little bobble.
Just got to remember, he's got good tires, Jacques Villeneuve, but boy, the brakes aren't good right now. You see Keselowski over there in the grass? He gets back on track. Shannon, what about Brad Keselowski's day? What's he saying?
Well, Brad Keselowski right now currently in the top 5. Last pit stop was on lap 47. You just checked in with your driver. How close are you guys on fuel?
We should be fine here. We've with a few cautions we've had since we pitted, we should be good. I don't anticipate, hopefully not too many green-white checkers. We're probably good for 1 or 2. We'll just have to see from there. But Brad's just done an awesome job all day keeping the discount tire Dodge clean, and he's just showing how a smart racer that he is, and he's able to keep bringing home these top 5 finishes on road courses.
Big picture is the championship. So if we do have multiple green-white checkers, how aggressive are you guys willing to get? How much are you willing to gamble?
Well, both cars are racing the championship or a lap down or more right now. So, you know, I told Brad if he feels the thing starts to run out of fuel, we'll do our best to try to come down and get some fuel in it so we don't lose a lap. But, you know, we have nothing to lose right now, like I said, with those guys laps down, so we're going to go for it.
All right, you heard it. They're going to go for it, guys.
Well, at this point, I don't blame them one bit. There is the 22 car. And again, that flashing red light in the back of the car. Teams required to be equipped to run in the rain on these road course races. They have to have a marker light in the event of rain. Remember, these cars don't carry brake lights, but if you're behind a guy and he's throwing up a rooster tail spray in rain, you got to be able to see him. And that flashing light is a safety item, and it just happens to be on the 22 car, either by accident or just a misplaced switch. Let's hear from Mike.
And I'm with Miles Stanley, the crew chief for Robbie Gordon. And when we spoke with you last with a handful of green flag laps remaining, you sounded awfully confident you could go the distance on fuel. I don't think you were counting on this. How does this change things?
This is a little bit of overtime. We were counting on going to 74 laps. With the teammate of the 32 there putting oil down all over the track, that didn't help us for sure. We weren't counting on that caution. And with it, we still have enough fuel to run around here for a little bit. We'll see what we got.
Do you have enough fuel to even get back to pit road?
Yes.
Well, that's a good sign, guys. At least they can salvage a good finish here after a very promising day.
Well, interesting. If they stop, 10 cars on the lead lap. If you come in, put a splash in, you're fifth in line for the double file restart if you're Robbie Gordon.
Yeah, you're right. And some of those cars are crippled. You see Jason Leffler in 11th, Trevor Baines 10th, and he was in that crash. So a lot of these cars back at the back of this lead lap, they could pass pretty easily.
That's something to consider, certainly. But if you know you're not going to make it, what's the point? And by the way, that's a great example of how racers think. Yes, it was the teammate of the 32 that put the oil down, but surely they didn't do it on purpose.
You can tell from our angle that that's not the case. But.
No, you would hope, guys, after they clean this racetrack up, they do a really good job at it, and when the cars are released, they come back around, then they can drop the green flag. If they got to go back around the track again just to kind of work this oil dry into the track, that's going to be bad news for a handful of these guys. So I would hope that
they're
they clean it up and do it.
They're firing them up right now, Rusty. We're going to find out shortly. Getting every drop of gasoline you can out of the tank does not happen by accident. For that, to the Craftsman Tech Garage we go. And Tim Brewer. Tim?
When it comes to road racing, we change a lot of things on the race cars. One being the fuel pickup. Historically, we'll run the fuel pickup in the far right rear corner on all the ovals because the centrifugal force forces all the fuel over in this area, and we know where to put it to pick the fuel up. But when it comes to road racing, we put this insert in here. What we have here, when you deaccelerate, we've got a flapper door right here that contains the fuel in this area. But when you're turning left or right, it always makes sure that it keeps the box full. Because the trick is, on any fuel cell, if you put 18.7 gallons in this container, you're supposed to get 18.7 out to give you an opportunity to win the race.
Well, I tell you what, that was a great explanation out of Tim Brewer. And I asked you earlier in the broadcast, in fact, it was yesterday, we were doing qualifying and practice. I said, how much of that fuel can they actually pick up nowadays? And you said about all of it.
Yeah, they should get most of it out. I mean, there may be up to, half a gallon or maybe a little less that they can't get out. But they've got some pretty neat systems to be able to pull it all.
Well, I'll say this. When you look around this racetrack, you look at the big grandstands and some of the corners, the ones directly across from us, across the start-finish line, the fans are all here.
No, they're not leaving.
No one has left. And they are all waiting to see if their man can find a way to take the trophy home today here at the circuit named for his late father.
I think the chances are good that he can do it.
It's the whole late twist of plot thing, it really is going to be interesting to see if Robbie Gordon does pit when they fire him up and come back around. It's going to be interesting to see if Boris has enough gas. And what do those fresher tires mean on that 32 car? If anything, they've been heat cycled once or at least anyway since he pitted, right? A run, then a caution, a run, now a red flag.
It doesn't seem the tires have been a big advantage. Watching the lap times even late in that long green run we had, the lap times were holding up pretty well. I think the big issue is just, having enough fuel and brakes to get to the end strong.
A lot of times when we talk a lot about the brakes, people probably get tired of me talking about that. But, a lot of times these brakes, folks, when you push the brake pedal down, it can be rock hard. But the brakes get a little thing going on with them that we call glazing. And you push that brake pedal so hard and that car doesn't stop at all. It just stays going. There's another way it can happen. You can push that brake pedal. It'll go all the way to the floor. It won't stop that way either. A lot of these guys have good pedals but just won't stop.
I'm curious about something. If there's a Boris Head crew member over by that fence on the right, because he just fired up the car, pulled it out of line, over to the fence as you look at it on the right side of the screen, and I wonder if there was a team member over there looking at something or if he was just messing with the fans. Because with Boris, that's definitely a possibility.
You never know with Boris.
They're backing that quarter panel closer. Maybe they're trying to get some gas in it.
Yeah, maybe he sent one of those fans over to get him a cup full of fuel put in.
I just figured it out.
Giving him some water.
Oh, water.
Water and shade.
Oh, yeah, shade.
Maybe he was parked in a spot where the sun is. I don't know. Or maybe I'm making too much out of it. But toss me a bottle of water. I can't reach over there. Somebody will be over there to chase those guys out of there in a minute. NASCAR does take water to the drivers under red flags, but maybe these guys didn't get enough to satisfy them.
I'm telling you, this has been a very physical race for these drivers, and you'll see when they get out after this race just how much it has been.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about the temperature out there a whole lot. It started about 84 degrees. I think the high today was supposed to be about 87 degrees, and so it's definitely not cool. It's pretty warm here still.
Well, here's a guy who knows a thing or two about what a nice drink tastes like at the end of a race. How about drinking the milk at the Indianapolis 500, as the winner traditionally does? Villeneuve doing that in 1995. Also won a championship in the now defunct kart series, the Formula One World Champion in 1997. And now trying to win a NASCAR race, something he told us on NASCAR Countdown would be a really neat thing for him. I found his comments to be really fascinating. Not just that he wanted to win at this track, but that he wanted to win in NASCAR. It was something he hadn't done yet.
Well, it's so special to win in NASCAR. Look how hard he's breathing. You can tell he's a little bit nervous.
Well, I think it's so hot in these cars. There's no air going in them right now, and it's probably just hard to get enough, fresh air in there to breathe.
He is really breathing hard in that car. I haven't seen people breathe that hard a long time. I don't know if it's like you said, it's air, nerves, whatever. I can tell in his eyes he's uncomfortable, though.
Well, I think I would be, too, sitting in there after all these hours in that kind of heat and waiting for the final laps of this race to be done. As we discussed earlier today, at the very beginning of our coverage from here in Montreal, Jacques Villeneuve's thoughts on not just winning at this racetrack, but winning at the place named for his father were somewhat equaled by his thoughts of winning in NASCAR.
I don't really think about the fact that the track is named after my father. The memories I have, the first one I have is when my dad won his first F1 race, which was in '78, and it was freezing cold, so after on the podium he was wearing a winter coat. Winning in Montreal would be great, but also winning in NASCAR, because it is completely different than anything I've done before.
The first Canadian to winning the Indianapolis 500.
In '97, when I won the championship, I crashed on the second lap, so that was frustrating. There was a wall painted, "Welcome to Quebec," and that's exactly where I crashed. It's great to race in the hometown. The fans here just love racing, whatever form it is in.
And so many interesting stories revolving around this racetrack. You see the Salut Gilles, the Toast Gilles, or honor him, written on the racetrack. That actually happened around one of the Formula One races by a fan. They wrote that on the racetrack, and the race organizers said, that's pretty neat, and they have done it every year since. That is now a permanent part of the circuit, named after Canada's Formula One star in the late 70s and early 80s, Gilles Villeneuve, who lost his life in a racing accident in Zolder, Belgium in 1982. The track named for him about a month later, and has carried his name ever since.
These drivers are struggling. It's hot out there. These cars, when they're this hot and heat-soaked, and you stop, there's no air moving inside them at all. It's really tough on them.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they get the cleanup done and get this thing going soon. Get some air moving into those cars, and these guys can find a way to cool down and regroup for these final couple of laps.
Man, this guy right here, Max Pappas, he wants it bad. He's got a great car, this Kevin Harvick car. He knows it. He is so close right now.
Another guy wants a win in NASCAR. He's won all kinds of things all around the world and wants a win in NASCAR.
See, that's the key, right? Alan, that is the key, what you just said, in NASCAR. These guys haven't won in this series. We talked about Ambrose wanting it so bad. He's won in this series. This guy right here hasn't. He's good enough to do it.
Max Pappas going to be moving to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series for the bulk of his racing. From this point, the part-time effort he was running in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series being turned over to another driver. And Pappas looking to see if he can get to victory lane in this 33 car today in these final couple of laps.
Well, if you could win a race on heart, this guy right here would win by a lap. I'm telling you, he races so hard, he wants to win so bad.
Well, they fire the cars, as you can hear, and are beginning to roll them off. See some of the steam inside the car from where the water hit the floorboards, where he was pouring it over himself. How hot that must be.
What is it, Andy? Through the exhaust of these cars, the headers, they create about 1,300 degrees of temperature.
Yeah, it's just underneath the car, but even, the whole car gets heat soaked, and that floorboard can be upwards of 150, 60, 70 degrees.
I get race fans ask me all the time, Rusty, how hot on the floorboard? And you'll get about 170 degree air radiating up into your body. One time I lost 11 pounds in a race, the Southern 500.
Wow.
It gets hot.
Wonder how many of us can imagine what it'd be like to sit in that in those kind of temperatures, wrapped up in those kind of clothing. I was sweating just being down on the grid in a suit and tie for the pre-race show today, let alone being inside that race car. Well, the field is rolling again under the yellow flag. We'll see if anybody comes to pit road here. We'll see if Robbie Gordon comes to pit road after a 13-minute red flag for the cleanup of the oil dumped from Jason Leffler's car after the scrum from the last restart. And the contact he had with the lap car. Robbie Gordon bypasses pit road. Can't see if it's open or not. But maybe he's decided to just ride it out.
Well, this is the first attempt of a green-white checker. They will go up to 3 attempts. And the way we've seen these restarts, I say chances are good we'll get more than one.
Some cars pitting here. Yeah, the pit road was open, so Robbie Gordon is going to just go for it.
As long as that motor's running, he's going to stay out there.
Which adds another element if you're the guy lined up behind him on the restart and the thing hiccups.
Just got to be careful. Try to avoid him.
You deal with it then.
Yeah. See if you can push him out of the way. So they will get the restart next lap by.
Well, effectively, this is the one to go. They're going by the flag now, so it'll be green when they come back here. They technically give them the one to go back there at the bridge.
They give the restart signal at a couple different places on this big racetrack, but they essentially will go green next time by. And if you're new to NASCAR, the rules for these green-white checker finishes, in order to give the fans the opportunity to see the race finish under green instead of under the yellow, which they desire, if the race reaches its scheduled conclusion and it's under the yellow flag, NASCAR will make up to 3 attempts at a green-white checker finish. When they come by next time, they'll wave the green. They'll come back around, make a lap, wave the white, make another lap and wave the checkered. If there's a caution somewhere before the white flag is shown to the leader, then they'll do it all again. But once the leader's taken the white flag, if the yellow comes out, then between then and when the leader takes the checkered flag, that's it. The field is frozen, the race is over.
I'll tell you one thing, all that stuff you just said, I totally got it standing here, but when I was in those cars driving it, I was totally confused. I'd say, tell me when the race is over.
Yeah.
And I have had times where I've been leading the race, and I'd say, is it over yet? Is it over yet? Because I'm so intense. I'm so focused.
Yeah, you're not watching those flags when you come by.
And especially with this green-white checker restart stuff.
Gordon's having trouble.
Is he out of fuel?
Yeah, well, he's having trouble keeping pace here.
Is he got the motor turned off, Andy? Who knows?
Possibly.
Well, remember that there is a NASCAR rule that you have to maintain pace.
Yeah, he's putting himself in a vulnerable spot there, because if Boris said and these other drivers pass him when he's doing that, then they'll line him up behind them.
Now, NASCAR understands these guys running and shutting the engines off and so on under the caution flags to save fuel. They understand all that. But if the car hiccups and shuts off and it takes Robbie Gordon a second to get it refired and these other cars just go by him at the normal pace.
Okay, now see here?
See this?
This could cause Robbie a problem.
He's got to be careful.
Yeah, he can't let that guy get in front of him.
Pick it up a little bit. You got to pick it up a little bit.
See, that's the NASCAR official in his pit telling the crew chief.
Got to get up behind the pace car.
Who's telling Robbie?
Yeah, he can't mess up too bad right now. He don't want to have happen to him what happened to Marcus Ambrose out at the racetrack out in California, where he shut it off.
Pick it up there. There you go.
Cars passed him. I hear he's just got warned by NASCAR, hey, don't lay back too much. His crew chief's telling him.
And remember, we're not on the white flag yet. Somebody could push him, but nobody's going to push him that's racing him for the win.
I would think not.
Yeah. The vulnerabilities of a single-car team.
Well, that's one of the cool things for telemetry that we have up here. We can actually see when Robbie turns that engine off. Our computers and stuff that NASCAR has shows the engine shut down. That shows when it refires through the electronics. So he did a lot of that trying to save fuel. Now he's trying to get the tires heated up just a little bit. Get some heat in them.
Well, it is going to be.
See there, he's having trouble keeping pace there. I don't know if he's shutting it off or not.
Yep. Robbie Gordon with Boris Said to his right. Then Max Pappas behind Gordon. And Villeneuve going to be on the driver's right side of row number 2. Remember, turn 1 is a left-hand kink. Then turn 2 is the hard right-hand Senna corner. That big sweeper that Marcus Ambrose told us earlier you can make so much time off of by being down low and being able to dig hard off that corner.
Well, one thing I just saw on the exit of turn 2, the racetrack is still real dirty. I saw the cars exiting that corner, leaving tire marks, so we know there's not going to be any grip out there. They're going to be slipping and sliding all over the place, especially as they enter turn 3.
Well, these Montreal races have been known for their bizarre finishes, their twists of plot, the surprise winners. We've had a lot of late drama in this one. The two dominant drivers on the day have had mechanical troubles. They'll not be a factor to win. Now there's fuel mileage drama for the 07 car, and for that matter, some of the others around him, all except that 32. We know he's got enough gasoline to go to the finish. Gordon, Boris said, Pappas, Villeneuve coming to the beginning of a green-white checker finish at Montreal. Who's going to get the trophy? Pappas diving to the inside, 3 wide to the corner. Contact there. Look at the scramble.
Come on, buddy, let's go.
Boris said to the lead. Gordon back to second. Oh, little contact there.
Gordon's out of fuel.
7, Robbie Gordon.
Robbie's out of gas.
It comes up short.
Still a long way to go here.
And is he going to get off the track in a safe spot or bring out another yellow?
How about that? Boris said, looking great in that 09 Zaxby's car.
Robbie, they want you to go in the cutoff of turn 7. Cutoff of turn 7. They want you.
Tell you what, if Boris wins this race, he's needed this for a long time. Here's another guy that's trained all these drivers. Oh,
there goes
Fitzpatrick off. He trained a lot of drivers, Boris said did.
Was running 5th, Fitzpatrick. Max Pappas trying to charge in, and that always present 32 car. Villeneuve in 3rd. Oh, listen to the Quebec fans cheer.
Max Pappas is going to get to Boris said.
Will he put a bumper to him? You never know.
There's Robbie Gordon and where he has parked his car. To the white flag. Last lap at Montreal. Even if the caution comes out, the race will be over, the field will be frozen. Pappas looking to close in. If they tangle, the 32 will try and pounce.
Oh, walks the wheels up.
Bobble bomb said.
No, it's close.
Oh, man, look at Villeneuve pushing hard.
Oh, inside for second, Villeneuve. Can he stay there? No, Pappas gets back by. Now Pappas has to try and chase Boris said back down.
And that's just what Boris said needed. Let those guys race, let him get out of Dodge. And he pulls about 10 car lengths on him.
Turn 8 and turn 9. There's Robbie Gordon's car as the driver walks away.
Boris has got a good turn 10, Andy.
Yeah, he did a good job getting down in there. I was wondering if he was going to be able to get in there without wheel hopping. That's the key right there. I believe he can hold him off through these next 2 corners.
Remember, it was the last corner of the last lap last year. One little mistake that cost Marcus Ambrose the win and allowed Carl Edwards to go by. Here's Pappas inside of Boris.
He got him.
Boris going to try the crossover.
Clear.
Pappas over the curbs. Here comes Boris said. Drag racing to the finish line, side by side. Who's going to get here first? It is, I think, Boris said. I think he got him by a bumper.
Unreal. Boris said wins by a bumper. You're exactly right.
Total finish there.
Wow. I know NASCAR will go check the photo finish camera on that one.
Boys. Real
it was
proud
that
of you.
close.
You guys did a great job.
It sure looked to me like Boris said got there by the width of that front bumper on that car. What a finish. Check it out.
Man, what a move Max Pappas put on Boris said getting into these 2 corners.
But then he hopped the curb coming out of that corner, and Boris got to his inside, and it was a drag race from there.
Same thing we saw last year with Marcus Ambrose and Carl Edwards.
And from the photo finish camera, it is indeed Boris said, a winner in the Nationwide Series, finally.
How do you say it, Alan? Boris said just broke Max Pappas's heart.
Yeah. How about that one, Vince?
I'm with Scott Zipadelli, and he just said, I can't believe it. Your first race as the crew chief with this group. How does it feel to be a winner first time out?
It feels awesome. This team deserves it. I've been doing this for a lot of years and a long time, and worked with a lot of different people. And I tell you, this team is they work hard. They're fighting to survive and stay in business. And when you get a good team like that in a town like Boris said, and Zaxby's on the hood, Roush Yates gave us a good motor, and Performance Friction gave us a whole brake package. Guys worked real hard, and it's just a great day. I can't be happier.
With all the twists and turns this race took, including the passing back and forth there on the final turns, what's going through your mind as you're watching it?
You just watch. There's nothing you can do. I have all the confidence in Boris said. He's been a complete pleasure to work for. He's so methodical and so smart. It's just been a pleasure all weekend. Really happy for the whole team.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Alan.
Great to see for Scott Zipadelli. And great to see for Boris said. And what about the show at Montreal again?
Unbelievable. I mean, what you really thought? I really thought Max Pappas had this thing won going in the very last corner. Great job trying to outbrake him.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how Max Pappas got by Boris said, because Boris got off the hairpin real good and up that straightaway. I thought, well, he's got it from here. And before they got there, Max Pappas had the lead.
I was just thinking, watching that Boris saw Max driving so deeply into that corner that he knew he wasn't going to make it, and he said, all right, I'm going to let him go and I'm going to cross over. But then Max made it better than he thought until he hopped that last curb coming out of the corner, and Boris was on the gas and got alongside him.
That last curb is very tall.
Oh, yeah, he knows.
Tell you what, if I was those guys, I'd be down there wanting to cut that thing down a little bit. That has just been a real thorn in a lot of people's sides.
Listen to the fans. They love their racing here in Montreal. And if they stayed for the finish of this one, and they all did, boy, they got their nickels worth. Photo finish. Boris said and Max Pappas, two of the best on road courses. And they put on a show in that last lap and came to the finish line side by side.
Well, they did. What about Jacques Villeneuve? I mean, that move he made trying to get past Boris said, and a great move. Max Pappas trying to pass him too.
And back to what you said before, Rusty and Andy, you just have to be so happy for Boris. He's helped so many people better their careers and better their road racing skills. And all Boris has wanted to be for the last, 5-10 years is a NASCAR driver. And
now he's a NASCAR winner.
Now he's a winner. There you go, Andy. Way to go. Third place for Villeneuve today, Vince.
Wow, what an incredible run. You look at the damage on the front of this car and all over this car. Great effort today, Jacques. What was the difference between first and third today?
Just the car was quick enough, and one lap to go. I thought I had Pappas. That's the one I was wanting to get, because he was late on the brakes, and I knew that Boris was braking a little bit earlier, and but I didn't make it stick. So too bad, because the car was running strong all race. The brakes lasted. Just wasn't as good at the end of the race as it was early. That's about it. We had a strong effort from the Dollar General team. I think we're great this weekend.
Gave him a thrill. The fans were on their feet as Jacques pulled it in here to pit lane. Third place. Shannon?
Yeah, Vince, the team down here giving Max Pappas hugs. Great finish for you guys. We could feel how bad and how hard you were fighting for that win. What are your thoughts on the day, Max?
I mean, first, congrats to Boris. If I couldn't win, he deserved a win. Dilana and Kevin, you guys gave me a great car. The Ream car was super fast. And, I gave everything I had. I believed until the last corner. I really outbrake him really hard. And, it came down to the last corner. I did all I could. I went through the gear. I barely hit the chip in second gear, and it went by again, and I was there pushing in the car. But this is what I can do in a good car, and I'm really proud. And thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Dee, for the opportunity.
Congratulations, Max Pappas. Great finish for this team. Alan?
Well, there it is, right side of the screen. Pappas 33, Boris said in the 09. Their fantastic fight for the win, coming right down to the finish line. And Boris said is a NASCAR winner finally.
And the words out of Boris said's mouth, finally. a winner in the Nationwide Series. What does this mean to you?
It's unbelievable. I mean, I've been trying so long, and this race is so tough, and it was all about brakes, and thanks to Performance Friction for giving me the best brakes in the thing, and it just was unbelievable. I didn't know I won because I didn't have a radio at the end, but you know, these guys did a great job. Performance Friction brakes, Zaxby's thing, Zaxby's fried chicken, and it was just awesome.
What was it like racing Max Pappas there, coming to the checkers?
Well, he went in deep, and I thought, ooh, well, all right, I'm second, but it was good racing, really clean racing, good racing. Max is a great guy, and that's great for Robbie Benton and all the RAB crew.
You've said before that you felt a little bit guilty that you've given all your tricks to everybody else in the field. Certainly seems like you saved some tricks up your sleeve.
Yeah, I mean, we just really played it smart and, you know, saved our brakes at the end, and we had a good car at the end, and that's what it took.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Boris said, a Nationwide Series winner, and as he said, finally. Alan?
Great to see. And a great day in Montreal. What a race again this year. What a twisted plot. What an unexpected winner. What a finish.
It was a fantastic race. I mean, a lot of body contact, a lot of crashes, a lot of excitement. Andy, it was fantastic, I thought.
Yeah, it kind of proved to be what we said. It was a test of brakes, and it was a test of wheel, and Boris said did a great job.
Next weekend, it's on to Atlanta for the Nationwide Series. Saturday night, 6:30 Eastern on ESPN2. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series returns to action next Sunday, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. Our coverage presented by Pennzoil. We start with NASCAR Countdown at 7 Eastern. And up next, the 2010 FIBA World Championships, the USA versus Slovenia from Istanbul, Turkey. Boris Said is the winner in Montreal after another fantastic finish.